What is up, everybody? So, they released Nitocris Alter, who is obviously going to be in Lost Belt 7, but they didn't do anything other than that. Like, there's no interlude, there's no trial quest, there's no, main story content, event, rerun, anything. They're just like, yeah, Nitocris Alter, because fuck it. But, yeah, it's kind of weird because, let's see, the Lost Belt 7 dropped on December 25th, and it wasn't a lot of content. It was decent story, but like it was really short because it was time gated, and it's still time gated. And then before December 25th, they hadn't really done anything. So it's like in the last 2 months, all we've gotten is like 11 story chapters, several of which had no gameplay in them, by the way. And then now we randomly get Nitocris Alter with no explanation. But, yeah, I guess she's gonna get either, like, her resurrecting is gonna make her like this, and she's gonna be on our side, or the bad guy is gonna do what he did to, King Protea to her, and then she'll be a bad guy, so who knows. Anyways, I think she's, like, AoE farming nonsense, but, let's take a look here. So her first skill's 3 turns, art up, buster up, heal, 2,000 every turn for 3 turns. Second skill, of course, it's 100% battery, because, 50 wasn't enough. Get buff success chance, grants party good alignment, makes enemies evil alignment, and then, I guess she puts buff success chance down on the enemy by 20%. That's, such a low percent that it's not super useful, to be honest. Unless she already had a buff that wasn't guaranteed to land. And then increase parties, art performance by 3 turns. So for herself, she gives herself 50% art up with that, for her first skill. And then 60% chance to grant evasion to allies of good alignment. If you have the second skill up, it'll be 100% chance. The cooldowns are not in sync though, so you're not going to be reliably throwing that out more than once. The third skill's a 5-turn cooldown, the second skill's a 7-turn cooldown. And then 60% chance for debuff immunity if they're good, 60% chance for instant kill immunity if they're good. And the evasion is only 1 attack. And the debuff is only 1. Honestly, that third skill is kind of crap. Like, I think she's mostly aimed at just LOL art looping, like very much so, because she's got an AoE art NP, she has a lot of art up. You got 100% battery, so you can double NP like it's nothing. But, yeah, I don't know, that third skill's kind of nah, but it's kind of like the icing on the cake. But really, nothing spectacular outside of just can loop really, really well. And she probably does decent damage while she's looping. Her gains are bad. Well, that's what 100% battery is for. Alright, let's see the animations here. So, wait a minute. She's not good, inherently. She is evil, which means she won't get her third skill. So, and I don't want to do my second skill right now. I think we have to just wait. That's awkward. Enabashi, thank you for the 54 fucking months. Crazy long time, dude. Thank you, thank you. We'll save the attack up for when we have the other art up. I don't know if she has different animations. This is actually my first time using her. So if someone has her in like stage 1, if they could put that up. Because this is stage 3. It's all very Yu-Gi-Oh right now. Because everything from Egypt is Yu-Gi-Oh, guys. So I think she's like empowered by like Anubis and Horus or something right now. Like majorly. I don't know why. I think they kind of just wanted to excuse to make Nitocris stronger. Like, I know underworld stuff is Nitocris' thing, I get that, but like, if that, like, why would this do it now and not regular Nitocris is my point, right? Like, why is she randomly stronger? I mean, she almost looped without using her skill, so that's a thing. Now we're using 100% battery when we only needed 14%, but I wanted a good alignment. Okay, now we do attack up. Probably wants command codes for like Star Bomb or something. I think art crits are how you really get good value here. But yeah, she's either gonna get like resurrected. I mean, she's still alive as of where we were in Lost Belt 7. She was just Fubar. But she's gonna just, I don't know, awaken Egyptian god nonsense, or she's gonna get ulted by the bad guy. Yeah, I would like to do some attacks that aren't art cards. Like, we don't have to try to beat the boss right now. So we can just do different animations. We can check her, like, total progression on this stage later. Her NP is banishing people to the Shadow Realm. Yeah, sounds about right. She has Black Grail equipped right now, which is why she's doing so much damage. Alright, we'll do Buster first, and then we'll do Buster last next. I don't know why I went into speed mode. Although this is mostly just particle effect spam, so... She actually did the same casting animation for every single one of those attacks. I don't know, I'm kind of meh on the attack animations. They're okay, but it really is just her standing still doing particle effect spam. That doesn't generally impress me too much. Yeah, let's see stage 1 if someone's got it. Yeah, that's cool though. That was a really long animation for not a lot. Okay, let's see if we can find a stage 1. Yeah, the laser was cool. I wonder if she can beat this stage. You did pretty well there, and I wasn't even trying to be optimal. And hey, Zert. I mean, we'll see what their explanation is in the story, but it just seems like an excuse to make Nitocris really powerful, and I don't really like when they just make up OC nonsense and they try to make that more powerful than like the legitimate version of the character. It just seems like Nasu trying to make his wacky bullshit ideas more relevant than the actual mythology, which I'm not really keen on. Okay, no one seems to have her at the minute. Anybody in chat with a Nitocris Alter here? Because we need stage 1. I only like skimmed through her bio and the translations were pretty bad, so I'm not entirely sure what the deal is. I know it's got something to do with like if she kept living and like the gods are influencing her more and now she's got like a divine core or some bullshit. He also says like in her bio just like straight up that she doesn't exist in normal human history, so it's kinda obvious it's going to be some Lost Belt 7 nonsense. Man, not a single Nitocris Alter here, even from like the randoms. That's crazy. I wonder how popular she's going to be. The design's okay though, like at least the design feels not too weird, right? They're keeping it fairly anime Egyptian, right? They're not going like too wacky. She doesn't have a submachine gun is what I'm getting at. Honestly, I wish though just regular Nitocris had gotten an animation update and got to be in the story in a serious way. Am I crazy? Because like that's how I feel about a lot of things. Like, I'd rather, for example, let's say we go to Lost Belt 8 or whatever, you know, and Leonidas is going to be in it. You know what I don't want? I don't want Leonidas showing up, doing almost nothing, immediately getting bitch slapped by the story, then coming back as Leonidas Berserker, right? And then that one's important, right? I don't want that. They do this all the time, right? I'd rather just give Leonidas a fucking animation update and then, you know, use Leonidas, right? That's the character I want to see. I don't want to see some weird, you know, changed version of the character just because. Well, I can't find a single Nitocris. This is crazy. I guess some people might put her in the all slot, but that seems unlikely. Look at all these Arknights right here. There's 3 of them. Close proximity. I mean, even Romulus, I would have really liked them to just give him an animation update and that kind of thing. That's a little different because they're doing the whole grand thing, but like they could have done both. And that's kind of where I'm always at. It's like, I don't mind Artoria because they also have Arthur, right? And it's like if they wanted to do regular Masashi, then OC waifu Masashi, that's not a big deal, right? But a lot of times they only do the one. Okay, there's a Nitocris, but that's stage 3 again. So we need a stage 1. That's literally the only Nitocris we've seen this entire time. And that's one thing when it's just looking at my friends, but we're also seeing randoms, and like no randoms are slotting her. I wonder if she's not popular then. I do know when a character has no story like this and they're just released out of the blue, they don't normally sell as well. Like, it's a lot of the player base is very much influenced by like actual screen time and story and that kind of thing. Unless it's like a really hyped design or character or voice actor or something. The thing is, people oftentimes think, like, it's really easy for people to get a warped perception of how much the community actually likes something. This happens all of the time. Now, I'm not saying she's not popular. I don't really know yet. This is not enough data. We don't really know a lot. But it's kind of like with Karen, right? When she was getting hyped up and getting ready to release, all you saw on Reddit was posts about her and pictures of her and stuff like that. And people think, oh, she's so popular, look at all these people. But it's really just what fans there are coming out of the woodwork. And it's not like the people that are like, meh, or I don't like this thing. They're not going to make posts. They're not going to make anti-picture posts, right? That doesn't happen. And so with Karen, leading up to her release and like during her release, if you looked at, you know, Discord, Reddit, Wiki, she's going to seem really popular. She was one of the worst selling characters in the game's history, right? And that pretty much happens every time, right? Like whoever does like the thing is obviously going to talk about it and bring it up and bring focus to it. And, you know, there's not going to be much else to be seen at the time, you know, on a Reddit or whatever. Like what else are people going to talk about right now? So it's just really easy for like the community to get a warped perception of, wow, this thing looks so popular, and then ultimately it's really not. Sadly, we may not ever get good data on Nitocris here though, because I suspect there's going to be another banner before this month is over. So, because right now she's the only banner we've had this month of note. But there's probably going to be another one, so those are going to be fused, so we're not going to get like really clear sales numbers, but okay, there's another Nitocris, finally, but unfortunately, it's also not in stage 1. So anybody in chat got a Nitocris here, like, god damn it, I can't get a stage 1 here. Wait, Kodamine was in January? Okay, never mind, we were absolutely never getting any kind of data whatsoever. I'm sure she's going to be decently popular. I mean, she's a waifu, so I don't see why she wouldn't be somewhat popular. But it's like, how, you know, where is she in comparison to, like, you know, Jalter and Morgan and Oberim and Gilgamesh? You know, I have no idea. It's going to be pretty hard to tell. Also, some people might have her and they're not slotting her. That's pretty common that people don't think about it, especially if there's not an event going on. Like, if there was an event going on right now and she was a bonus servant in that event, people would be rushing to slot her in their support list, right? But there's nothing going on, right? So no one's even thinking, even if they have Nitocris, to slap it on their support list. I think that's actually a big part of it. Because, yeah, if there's nothing going on, why would you even... You're not going to think about managing your support list. You're just going to go farm or something. Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if she gets another banner, actually, after her story. Kind of like what they did with Morgan. But I wouldn't think she would sell poorly. Like, just looking at the history of the game and what sells well and that kind of stuff. Okay, no, seriously, we've been refreshing for a while, and my god, the amount of scatty rulers I've seen. Jesus Christ, man. Also, this is disgusting. Get that off my screen. I think we've seen like 2 or 3 Nitocris's this entire time, and none of them have been in stage 1. Or stage 2, actually. I think it's been stage 3 every time. Oh, I've seen a lot of Oberims. Yeah, look, 2 of them right there, and a lot of Scatties and Oberims. Scatty's ruler is really good for farming, though, so... Also, she's in a unique slot, like not the caster one, so... It's really easy to like, hey, if they want to do quick stuff, they can go to this slot, and if they want the typical, you know, cast story, yeah, they can go to the caster one. God, I'm losing hope here. So, no one in chat has a Nitocris, huh? No Nito fans? No Egyptian hype? No Alter degenerates? You can just slap a command here and you can get my friend code. It's easier that way. I have to make room though. I don't have slots. I'm sure somebody sent me an invite a long time ago here. I normally try to nuke the people that have JP names because they're normally just randoms. Post people from the stream that I might actually need to like add. But like, hey, I've already sent you an invite and I got X or Y servant. The evil one is in chat. Okay, that should be enough slots. I really need to clean up my regular friends list here because it's way too big, but I'll deal with that later. And Storamax, Stormixy, whatever the fuck, thank you for the 8 months. Yeah, the Twin Princess song is kind of 10 out of 10, big fan. I love Dark Souls 3 PvE. It's like the most replayable in the series, in my opinion. Especially if you don't overlevel it. Yeah, I do suspect part of why we're seeing so few Nitocris's is simply people not thinking of putting it on their support list. I think that's definitely part of it. Like, she cannot be this unpopular. Almost any character that has boobs is going to be more popular than this. Although I tell you, Karen really was. That was shocking how bad Karen sold. That was one of the. Actually, as far as like I know, that was actually like the worst recorded month that I could find. Now, if you go really far back in the game's life, you probably could find a worse one because the player base was smaller and stuff like that. Like early on, actually, the game had some pretty dead months in terms of profit. But, yeah, Karen's sales were atrocious. Okay, I have to, like, do something to actually get the game to update the friends list. Actually, let me just relog. It's just such a pain. Otherwise, you could like start a stage and quit it and waste AP, blah 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 blah. I do wonder if Karen had been more normal, if she would have sold better. There was like a lot going against her though. First off, ain't nobody actually read Fate Hollow. Don't lie to me, you have not read it, right? Very few people have actually read that visual novel. Karen's not in anything other than that. she's not even in it that much, right? Like most people like Bazette or some shit, right? So it's like there just wasn't a lot there, and then the version they put in FGO was like really weird and wasn't really like that character, right? It was very bizarre. Yeah, I guess she is in Carnival Phantasma, but I mean barely. That's not gonna really sell anybody on the character, I don't think. Alright, let's see who's actually got the thing here. Oh, this is set by level. Okay, so I'm assuming that's stage 1, because that's definitely stage 3 or 4, but yeah, we need stage 1. We'll just try one at a time here. We're trying to see the animations. Wrong button. Man, I'm so bored with FGO, though. It feels bad. I'm not bored with, like, the gameplay, right? I like the combat system fine, I like the characters fine, I like building teams, but there is nothing to do, right? This game has no replay value. They've not put out any content in a month, right? It's just ridiculous. And I hate that because I like FGO a lot. I like Fate a lot. Super excited for Fate Strange Fate and all that. But it's like, it's just pathetic that, like, they just don't do anything, right? Like there's no roguelike like an Arknights or a boss rush mode. You can't go back and play old challenge quests. Because you know what I would love to do right now? Like new character, right? She's AoE based. So like what I'd like to do is go, okay, let's look through some of the past challenge quests, right? And pick out some that are kind of aimed at AoE, right? And then we'll make a budget team, but then we'll use her, right? So everything on the team's budget except for her, right? And we see how she does, right? That'd be great, right? Just go around, fight some boss battles, you know, from main story or from challenge quests from the past, and see how the unit does. And that's how, like, almost every game lets you do. And this game's like, no, you can go farm doors. Oh, I'm so happy. Yeah, I know. I've talked about that on my stream a lot. That they've been like posting for hiring for a really long time, and they're not filling the roles, and it's because they're not paying enough. Like they've got the amount that they're paying on their website, and they're literally just not paying very well. Like who the fuck would? It's stupid, and this is what's messed up. This game needs expert help because it has so many problems and it is ran so poorly. So they can't just hire Joe Blow. They need to hire some people that really know what the fuck they're doing. To make some really good decisions and stuff, and they need good coders to like execute things quickly and that kind of stuff. But with what they're paying, they are not going to get veteran developers. Like they need serious veterans, I think, to fix this game up. But they are just not paying enough. They are never going to get veterans. They're going to get newbies that are just looking for job experience, so then they can go to another company, you know, and get paid more. And you know what's messed up? I know a lot of companies do that on purpose, where they look to like attract people with low experience so they don't have to pay them very much. And they know that those people are willing to work for low wages because they know those people just want to get job experience to then like switch to a different company and work up the ladder. And they're okay with losing those employees because they're planning on just bringing in another set of new ones. Like it's a rotating door thing. That's a terrible business model for the long run. You're never going to have experienced developers and stuff, but like a lot of higher up executives don't really get the practical drawbacks of that kind of thing. Alright, let's see our animations here, although let's stay in speed mode and just get through the taunt wall part here real quick. Kinda cool how she's all glowy blue though, that's kinda neat. I already like these animations more than her stage 3 so far. But yeah, FGO just like breaks my heart because I like the ID, I want to like the game, the core gameplay is fine. When I do get to fight a well-designed boss and put a budget team together or whatever it is, make a team around my favorite unit, etc., etc. It's great. It's a lot of fun, and they've made some boss fights over the years that are fantastic. But you just so rarely get to sit down and just play the game. Bonk. Yeah, these animations are way better than Stage 3. Stage 3, she's literally just standing there doing the same pose over and over again. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be bandages, but it does kind of look like tape. What are you gonna do? Yeah, the only way they can fix the power creep at this point is either one, nerfing things, which I actually think they need to do. A lot of people are against that, but I actually think nerfs really need to happen in games because you should not nerf often. I really will say that. You really should not nerf often. You don't want to be spamming nerfs. And also, anytime you nerf something, like for example, Castoria these days is not the only OP thing because now we got like Veach and Oberyn and stuff. But when they released Castoria, she was just way too strong. I mean, she does everything. There's no reason not to bring her. She does insane damage boosting, really strong survivability, even debuff removal, team-wide battery, right? Like just so much stuff in one place. Just an anti-pierce vulnerability. Just way too many things. There's absolutely no reason not to bring her, right? That's not good. You should never have a unit that should just always be on your team 100% of the time, no matter what kind of setup you have. And that's where Castoria is. She should always be on your team, no matter what. That's just obviously stupid. But like, let's say you were going to nerf Castoria, you should also buff her. Like, I mean that. Like, let's say you were going to really nerf her so she's got some holes in her kit so she can't do everything. But then you can double down and make some of the things she's good at even better. That's a very good way of nerfing a character because then it generally keeps people from being pissed off and they don't feel like their favorite character is useless or something. Your goal whenever nerfing in a game, be it PvP or PvE, you should never nerf something to the point of it's not good anymore. Really, you don't want to do that. But the other thing they could do is buff some stuff, right? Like, so buffing how strong the low stars are would help because right now, if they want to make a new boss battle and they want to aim it at, it's still going to be challenging, even if you're using Castoria or Veach, Oberyn nonsense. The boss has to be so hard that it's not reasonable for low stars, and the low stars generally to keep up have to rely on really good RNG. They have to like bring the best team possible and then get really lucky, and that sucks. I mean, it's so awful, and a lot of boss fights have been like that, like challenge quests. So yeah, I think they should have. It's kind of too late now because you have to nerf several things now, and that really puts people off. But they need to nerf like the top supports a little bit. And you don't have to go crazy, but nerf them a little bit so it's not so brain dead. And then they need to buff the low stars and some of the even some of the 5 stars that aren't used very often. But the power creep is pretty messed up because right now the game is like, it's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Yu-Gi-Oh now, it's like special summoning is more common than normal summoning. That doesn't make any sense, right? And like now NP spamming is more common than not. Like if you watch people that are using meta supports, they're NPing more turns than they're not NPing. And oftentimes they're NPing every single turn for the entire fight. That's not good. That's stupid, right? Your NP is supposed to be your trump card, and units that can like double NP are supposed to be really rare and far between. But they've just started throwing battery on every unit. When they do buff units, they buff them by giving them battery. So they're balancing around the standard of you're supposed to be able to just NP constantly. But you shouldn't be able to NP constantly. That trivializes like the whole system of like thinking about which cards to pick and all kinds of stuff. It's not good. And it's kind of like how a lot of card games, when they get really power creepy, they start just catering to that power creep and making new characters with that meta in mind. And that's bad. It just results in like the gameplay getting really bloated and lots of gameplay mechanics from the past not mattering at all because all you care about is the new stuff. It's like if you're not NPing every turn, what are you actually doing? Okay, let's do Buster first, and then we'll do Buster last. So, they're still pretty lazy with their animations. It's not very animated. It's just mostly paper mache. Like, Like they've almost never animated like her from different angles here, and they're just doing that so they don't have to put as much work into it. But the animations are still fairly cool looking. The thing is, the decks that still like don't argue with on this. I know enough about Yu-Gi-Oh! Don't fucking kid yourself. Like the few decks that do normal summoning are doing like that gimmicky normal summon that's not really a normal summon from like back in the day. Like don't fool yourself. They do that whole like card text thing where it's like if you normal summon this, like you can literally special summon a monster and then have it initiate a normal summon on itself to activate an effect. That is so bullshit, right? Like it is so crazy to me that people act like Yu-Gi-Oh! Has any degree of like normacy now, right? Like that game is so convoluted. Like so many decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now win in like turn 1 or turn 2, and their turns take like 5-6 minutes, right? And their air quotes normal summoning isn't actually normal summoning. Like, do not fucking kid yourself here. It's because every time I bring it up, someone has to be a smartass and try to act like the game's not as I describe it, which is just complete nonsense. Okay, it's kind of awkward she can't do her third skill on her first NP, but it's really not practical to do so. Okay, so we need to do, this is a terrible combo and you shouldn't do it, but I'm doing it just because I want to see the attack animations. The only way Yu-Gi-Oh! Could fix itself is if it did formats, and then the new format, like the new cards, were so much weaker than the old ones. Like, they really have to start over. And that happens with a lot of things when it comes to card creep. As in the standard of like, and gacha games are actually very similar to card games because if you think about it, rolling the gacha is basically opening a booster pack. I mean, it is. It's very similar. So like, if a gacha game's power creep gets out of control and you want to make a new character and you want people hyped for the new character and trying to get the new character, it has to be able to compete with all the old stuff that's the absolute best. And that results in just, you know, power creep, obviously. I like how he just crit the shit out of us. Like that last time we did him, we actually did really well, but if we actually were trying to win here, we'd be completely fucked. Because, that was a terrible first turn. You know, I think depending on the card game kind of depends on how expensive it is. I know some card games are actually pretty brutal. Especially, like, some card games will do this thing where, like, there's, like, this one card that's really important in the meta, and you need, like, multiple copies of it, and that card can end up being, like, $200, $300, and if you need 3 copies of it, or have whatever the limit is in the game, and then you might need a few cards of that rarity, right? Like, card games can get really expensive if you're trying to play at, like, the high end. It can get absolutely absurd. Now, if you're playing digitally, it's normally not as bad. Although it depends, too. But yeah, like, even in, like, Hearthstone, right? That was trying to be a really casual card game. If you wanted to be the absolute best, use the absolute best deck you possibly could. And keeping up with the new sets as they come out, a lot of times it would be very expensive if you were trying to make like not just a good deck, but the best deck. Yeah, card games can be really deceptive in how expensive they actually are. The thing is, her MP damage isn't that bad because she has a 3-turn 50% art up, and then she does give herself an MP up before her MP every time. And then also she's an Avenger, which is like so Space Star, but so her MP damage is not that bad actually. And here's the big thing: it doesn't matter because you're going to be working with Castoria, right? Like it doesn't matter. Like when is that going to be a problem? Oh my God, guys! I got my own 50% art up and MP up, and then Castoria is giving me another 50% art up, and what, a 30% attack up. And what, I'm not going to clear the trash wave? Right? Like, I'm pretty sure you got it, right? Very rarely is that going to be an issue. Now, some people, you know, like 30, there's no new players in FGO, let's be honest. This game does not retain any new players whatsoever. But there's like 5 of them out there, right? So you got a few new players that maybe this is one of their, you know, first 5 stars. So they're going to be working with, you know, Hohenheim, Mozart, Shandong, Pawns, you know, at best, right? That's going to be their options. I mean, maybe a friend Castoria. But like, even if you just have the one friend Castoria, you're still doing so much damage. I don't think the difference between Space Ishtar and Nitocris is going to be particularly relevant. They're both looping, they're both doing a lot of damage, right? It's just, like, who gives a shit? It gets weird when the... I think... Am I crazy? I think the community just gets bored, and they try to compare things like Space Ishtar to Nitocris just because they're literally bored. And they're not thinking about it, wait a minute. I'm 3-turning with both of these, and almost every node that's ever existed. Who cares? Like, I mean, literally... Who cares, right? And like you'll see stuff like where they're like, oh well, this one doesn't need K-scope, even though I have K-scope, and I don't need what other CE I could replace it with. But I'm going to make this a comparison because I'm desperate, right? It's just, it's silly, right? It's silly. Like you're gonna, if you like Nitocris and you make her your ultimate farmer, you can do that very easily. If you like Space Ishtar, you want her to be ultimate farmer, you can do that very easily. Doesn't really matter, right? So use whoever the fuck you want. It's a goddamn, like, wow, what are you gonna do? Worry about clearing the doors 1 click sooner? Like, yeah, that's relevant. I'm just gonna be honest, we don't have an endgame in FGO, right? Theory crafting is not the endgame, because there is no endgame. Like, our endgame, I guess, is theoretically every time they do put out, like, a new main story or a challenge quest. But they do that so rarely that the endgame is actually farming doors, if it's anything, right? Because you need QP all of the time. So, when there's nothing else to do, you're probably farming doors. Especially when, a newer account, not so much, right? Like, a newer account, if there's no event going on, and they're caught up on the main story, they're probably going to try to get skill gems, or they're going to try to get ascension materials, like from a free quest, God help you, or something like that. But once you've gotten going, you just don't really need that stuff very much, so... Yeah, you know what? The end game for FGO, for me, I'm not memeing. The end game for FGO for me is playing Arknights because I'm waiting for FGO to do anything. I'm not kidding. That's what it is. It's like my account is like pretty finished, so I don't need to do tedious farming. So now I'm free to go play something else instead. And, you know, Arknights lets me do a bunch of stuff just for fun, so that's my end game, is waiting around and playing Arknights instead. So, it's fucked up, man. I do wonder how Nitocris does do, though, on NP gain if she's working with something more humble like Hohenheim instead of Castoria. I guess we could test that real quick. And then maybe go fight Lobo on my ult account or something to... She'll do pretty poorly there, I suspect. She very much is a farming AoE servant, and if you're going to use her in a boss fight, you want it to be an AoE boss fight, right? If you're fighting like 6 enemies, 3 enemies, then Nitocris will be fine in a boss fight, but if you're fighting one single nasty baddie, she's not going to do very well, like no way. Some AoE characters can do well in single target circumstances, but she's not. Like, her NP doesn't do anything that's going to be abnormally good in that kind of situation. She doesn't have crit up or attack up or anything like that for her normal cards to get really beefy. So yeah, she's pretty shit for that kind of thing. But that's okay, not every character needs to do everything ever, so. Yeah, you know, Darius would be a fun time to test her, but I can't because advanced quests don't let you use friends' units, and Chad, I'm gonna blow your minds. I'm not rolling on her. I know that's really surprising. Everyone was so sure I was gonna roll on Nitocris, but yeah, it's not happening. Okay, let's see. If we're gonna Can we get like, I don't know, I guess K-scope or something? That'd be the typical thing people would use in farming. Because I don't think we're going to need Black Grail for doors. I guess she could use Black Grail though if it was one of those really hard free quests that they do in events sometimes. Because you could do her battery skill, right, and just boom, get the NP. And if you got like double Castoria and all that, you could probably get some loops in there and the other battery, so you could definitely get away with it. I'm not sure we know how well the banner is doing because any app earning reports we can see are going to be monthly based, so that's going to include Kodomine and everything else, but I don't think she's doing badly. I'm sure she's doing fine. But yeah, and app earning reports are not perfect. They don't factor in everything. Like, if, for example, if someone is using free-to-play SQ, it's not going to show that. So it's hard to see exactly how popular is this thing. What the fuck is this team right now? Okay, we'll go Hohenheim, because that's a pretty budget-friendly support. So he's very common. His CE doesn't really matter. Let's see though, what else would you do? It kind of depends on if like you were going to use Hohenheim to clear the first wave. Because some free quests, the first wave is going to be tough enough that Hohenheim can't clear it. And then some aren't, and he can clear it, right? Yeah, you could do Shufu. There's also I think you would do Mozart if the final wave was pretty tough. Right? If like wave 3 was like a big nasty. But yeah, we'll try Jufu. That's kind of a fun one to use. You would definitely do Mozart though. If Hohenheim could clear the first wave, and then the final wave was like one big tanky dude, then you would definitely want Mozart for that big, juicy damage up. Wait, Taiga is the best single target Avenger? What? Oh, you mean Ushi stuff. Yeah, I was looking at Lost Reply and it said Taiga, and I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, that, you know, you whip out the pajamas, you know, and you turn into an Avenger. That's how this works, guys. Yeah, Ushi Avenger is really, really, really good. Like, she's pretty busted. Good solo, good team unit. I will say this though, as good as she is, and I think a lot of people that look at this objectively that have her are going to see what I'm talking about. She's great, very, very, very strong, but you don't know, especially if you have an established account, you don't really ever need her. It's more like you like using her and it's fun to show off. Like, let's say you already have Jolter. Can you really think of a ruler boss that like Ushi can do and Jolter can't? That's not really a thing. And if it's like a Lancer boss, you probably have a Saber that's going to be even better just because of the nature of counterclassing, right? So, like, she's not actually that practical, right? She's kind of, I mean, she's great, like, holy shit, she's strong, but, like, most accounts aren't going to need her. Now, let's say you got a newer account and you happen to have her, then she's fucking amazing because she's going to be so applicable. Because you can use her to fight an Archer, you can use her to fight a Berserker, you can use her to fight a Ruler, you can use her to fight another Avenger, right? So you get a lot of boom for your buck if you level her up, absolutely. The thing is, a lot of accounts are going to already have all the boom that they need for almost all of those fields. They've already got a good single target Lancer, they've already got a good single target, you know, Berserker, and so on and so forth, so they don't really need it. She's a luxury item, I would say, for the most part. But she's very, very good. One of the best Avengers out there, for sure. But yeah, it's like, you normally are, you probably already have other options that could have done whatever she does. Yeah, that's true. That is most extra class servants. That is accurate. It's kind of just the way of it. Kind of a shame I don't have like an Ox King for art up. That'd be a good CE to give Jufu here. I guess if you had excess QP stuff, you could just slap more QP things on her. Wait, don't I have... Yeah, there we go. I was about to say, I swear I've got other stuff here. Gives, oh, there we go. That's the one that gives the most. Although it's not limit broken, which actually makes no difference. So what's this 2%? I can't remember. What is this? I don't use the 3-star ones very often. I gotta look this shit up. We gotta get optimal, chat. Also, I'm just curious. And before it's like 2% NP gain or some crap. Stargin? Okay, that's useless. Yeah, limit breaking these doesn't have anything to do with the QP, so. Okay, I gotta get a Herc Bond. My Herc would be Bond 10 if I would actually farm every day, but I keep just making blue apples instead, but he's only 41k off. And then I guess Bedivere, because it's really hard to get Bedivere coins if I already have them. Like, if I didn't have Bedivere, it'd be really easy to justify rolling on a Bedivere rate up or a Saber rate up or whatever. But if you already got them, it's kind of hard to justify it. So, but I still want to get coins. Because his second passive is just so fucking good. Who else do I want Bond with? I mean Mori. Because, same problem. Alrighty. CE doesn't matter, but I'm gonna bring something that helps her do damage. That way we try to see how much damage she does on the third wave, because that's kind of relevant. Now, she's only NP1, etc, etc, but a lot of people only have NP1. That's very common for 5 stars. Yeah, Mori coins are killing me, dude. They have not done class banners in a while, which is unfortunate. So this is a stage that he probably could do the first turn on. Though I'm kind of curious, I kind of want to see what happens if he can't. So let's use her here and see how it goes. I'm curious what the raw refund is. We would need to get to 70% or 69%. Not quite. So that's a clear sign, though, that working with Castoria would be a lot easier. Now, the next one would be slightly easier because now she has another art up. But I don't think it would be enough still. So, we probably have to rely on Hohenheim on one of these ways. Yeah, it's a little bit harder with the free-to-play stuff, but you could always use the Switch Mystic code. Also, let's be honest, most people would summon a friend's Castoria, and that's going to replace, like, Jufu or something, and then that would be more than enough. Kinda sucks I had to give him the attack up, but I didn't want to risk him failing. He's not the strongest damage dealer. Alright, well, she doesn't have as many buffs as she could, but we'll see what she does here. This is an NP1. I'm kind of skeptical this is gonna work, to be honest. Her third skill, you won't get. Well, yeah, I guess you get the art no matter what, actually. I think it's only the other abilities she has to be evil. But it wouldn't matter, we were off by like 20%. Well, that was mid at best. But yeah, when you're short that much NP, the extra art up would make like no difference. I don't think Castoria, or Castoria, what am I saying? I don't think Space Ishtar would have done any better here, though, to be honest. I haven't seen the stage 3 yet. I've seen 1 and 3 so far. Boy, I'm really having a hard time with this last enemy, though. This is kind of an example of why I don't think Avengers are that practical, because now with Castoria you can generally brute force it, but like here, it's easy enough to just use riders. There's enough good riders for farming that it's gonna make this final wave a lot easier. Holy shit though, this is taking forever. I wonder how much better this would have gone if we'd used the attack up more optimally. Also, you could use the Switch Mystic Code, and that's pretty common for... like, let's try that one more time, and we'll use Hohenheim more normally, and we'll see if that makes any difference. Oh, hey, Beastly's got it. Now, that's a really normie CE. I'm trying to think if we could use that to our advantage, because that's like what a lot of people would be working with. And if you didn't have an MLBK scope, I guess you'd use Jufu right off the bat. Can we do that? Can we get a either Sakura scope or non-limit broken K scope? I feel like that's a really fair way to... Because really, most people that would still be using Hohenheim and stuff, they're not going to have an MLBK scope. Have gold license revoked, indeed. Jufu did most of the damage there. I don't know, we did like half the health bar with the NP, so I think Nitocris still won. MLB Sakura scope. That's like the budget way to do it. At this point, I probably would bring Switch Mystic Code if I was doing it for real. See, now she's only glowy blue for her half of her body, which is kind of weird, actually. But the drip's pretty good. Alright, so you could Jufu her right off the bat. Yeah, so you do get the art up, even if you don't get the other effects. Now, Hohenheim, don't fail me here. I'm just saying. There's a. You leave like an enemy with 1,000 life or some crap. I'm not gonna be happy here. He's got that Buster AoE on an art. It's not the. Oh my God, one of them's still alive. With 4. Okay, at least Jufu's got it. Guys, we can always rely on Jufu to carry the team. I wish you could have stage 2, but have the blue stuff still, or none at all. It's really weird it being half and half like that. That just looks strange. But the drip is definitely better in this one. Okay, now the sad thing here is we have all this stuff to help us loop, and none of it's actually going to be relevant because we still have our 100% battery. What was that song? I can play it in my head. What was that fucking song? I want to say it was from Abinogi. Oh god, I'm gonna have to go back and look. I don't know. I'm not really good at remembering what the fuck the song is from, but yeah, I got nothing. Oh, it's Imperial Capital from Brave Frontier, which I've never actually played that game, but I listened to the soundtrack to the title. What? What? Wow. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna want Castoria. I'm just gonna say that you're gonna want Castoria, or you're gonna want to have a higher NP rank. All right, anyone got an NP1 Faces car? Let's get some comparison here. Let's got it. We need an NP1 Faces car, and then preferably with MLB Sakura scope or a non-limit broken K scope. That's the really common shit. There's always Cope scope too, but that's just painful. Now we lost all of our buffs. I can't look, chat. This is... We had so many buffs just a second ago. Where did he go, chat? What happened? I might as well just delete my account, chat. It's over. Yeah, anyone got a Space Ishtar that's NP1. It's gotta be NP1, otherwise it's not fair. Now, the interesting thing about Space Ishtar is you can actually mix up the kind of color you are, but for free-to-play setup, you'd probably still stick with art. Because, you know, all that quick budget support we got right now, guys, to use. Really great. So, how about that Switch Mystic code? Okay, we got... Guys, you just insta-death it, and you don't have to worry about it. There you go. Any Space Ishtars out there? Any retarded fans out there? Anyone got brain damage is what I'm getting at here? I think I'm actually proud of my chat when we don't have Ishtar. I'm just saying. Now I'm just hating on people. Okay, that slight attack up might make the difference here. You know, I wonder how Antonio would actually do in comparison. I'm actually quite curious about that. I kind of want to try that. She can 3-turn though if I switch to the Switch Mystic code, but wait, there was a Space Ishtar. Let me see. It's got to be you know, NP1 and all that. We're kind of picky here. Okay, we got NP1, and we got Elioscope, which is good enough. That'll be fine. It's still 75%. Alright, I guess we'll keep the team exactly the same, even though we know there's flaws with it, but we want to see the performance here. Man, sometimes you do get so many 5 stars in a small amount of SQ. It can happen. Like, me with Lion King. Remember that, chat? That was fair. I'm so glad I streamed that, because I don't think anyone would have believed me if I hadn't streamed it. Like, that was so ridiculous. Okay, I guess the first time, maybe we go without Hohenheim, because the first time we didn't use Hohenheim for, Nitocris. Hold on, let me look at Space Ishtar's kit again. I gotta make sure I don't mess this up. God, her name is literally Space Ishtar. It's just, that's not even like a nickname that the community gave her. Right, well we definitely want the art NP. I don't think she's going to do very well here, chat, but we'll see. I think the issue is going to just be the loopability. Like, never mind the damage, I think the loopability is just going to be totally fucked up here. Yeah, I think Nitocris will definitely loop easier, especially with the free-to-play setup. And they'll both loop with Castoria, though. The thing is, when you introduce Castoria, then they're both doing enough damage and stuff as well, so then there's almost no difference. Outside of maybe some stages that really have more HP than you might expect. Yeah, we'd have to use Hohenheim. Because if I do it here, then we're not going to have anything left. So, pretty much exactly the same as Nitocris here, actually. I guess I'm going to use Hohenheim here, though. So, because I have to do it like this, I have to wait the attack up again, but That happened to Nitocris too. So the ideal thing is you use it on, you use Hohenheim on wave 1, and you can save the attack up for wave 3. Alright, let's see what she does damage-wise here. Boy, they put a lot of effort into that animation. I don't know about that. I mean, at least the normal attacks did good. That's actually the best thing about it. The NP actually was pretty pathetic, but the Buster card did well, so there's that. Yeah, really, there's not much difference here. I guess Into's normal card damage is higher than Nitocris's though, which actually did have a practical effect there. But yeah, their loop ability is extremely similar. It's a little bit better on Nitocris. The damage is very comparable. That was barely different at all. Oh yeah, I got the extra attack boost. That's actually the most noticeable difference, is just Space Destroyer's normal card damage is undeniably higher. Summer, Kama. What? I can't remember what color is she. Is she art? Because I know her Avenger is quick, or her Assassin is quick. Because if she's quick, we're fucked. I'm just gonna say that. We really should start incorporating the Switch Mystic code though, because I don't think a lot of units are gonna be quite good enough unless they've got like an MLB K-scope. Now, I really do want to try that. Because you know there's Antonio fans out there that's what they're farming with. Do we do that real quick? We got the comma right there, and she's got the CE. Okay, hold on. She's got the CE. We'll do this real fast, but we gotta do Antonio. We gotta do that. It's only fair. God, I should give Hohenheim a slightly better craft essence. He's unreliable as fuck here. He actually, I guess, did best with Nitocris though, because Nitocris buffed him. What is she wearing? Good God, what is wrong with this fucking game? Also, why does she have a, like, okay, whatever. Alright, let's see here. We will do this. Okay, let me look at her first skill here. Okay, that's the wrong comma. My God, there's so many commas now. Oh, her art up is only for herself. Her NP up is only for herself. I mean, that's pretty fitting for her character that she's selfish. I wouldn't really expect her to be generous, but that means Hohenheim can only clear this, I think, if he has the attack up. So, guess we're doing that then. You play through the Lost Coast Limited roster, only units that are native to that country. Good luck with that, because some of those are... Like, I guess most of those it's fine, because, like, Lost Vault 4, you have a lot of Indian servants, it's not so bad, but I'm pretty sure there's a few out there that... Like, what were you gonna do with Lost Vault 7? All those Central and South American servants we've got. Like, what the fuck? Alright, let's test her out here. Get that nice NP gain out. That's the good shit. What's really gonna impress me is if anybody gets like so much refund that they don't need battery. But that's pretty hard to do if you don't have some of the busted shit out there. Chat, I don't remember what her MP animation looks like. I don't remember at all. The fuck? God, by the way. Wow, though. Actually, that was pretty damn good. Holy shit, that was pretty good on the refund. And if you did do the Switch Mystic code, you could switch. The Jufu's not needed anymore on turn 1. So you could switch in just anyone else that gives you art up or NP gain up. And you could pretty much just fill up immediately. That's actually pretty impressive. Okay, so we've been testing everyone at NP1, which I think is fair. But Antonio, we obviously tested NP5 because he's a 3-star, and it's just really easy to get 3-stars. Now, let's see the damage here, though. Oh, man. Okay, so we gotta do Antonio, and then we'll start doing the Switch Mystic code, because we kind of clearly need a little bit more oomph, because ain't none of these doing it. Although I guess if you really wanted to shame the Avengers, you bring a Rider, because a Rider will do a lot more damage. It's actually a Jufu setup, by the way. What, did you like RNG on the thing? I like how all of these units, though, have, like, huge batteries because FGO is just fucking stupid with power creep. It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm trying to 3-turn this stage, and I'm also trying to get Bond, I bring Kentucky. Because a lot of units I want Bond on are really good for 3-turning this. Like, generally what I use for this stage is, because I want Bond on, like, all of these characters, I bring Arthur, because he can clear a wave on his own, no help, super easy. Tesla, the same thing, he can clear a wave, and you get the 50% battery, so very easy. And then just Kentucky. Because I want Kentucky coins, because there's no way to get coins for him right now. And obviously Tesla and Arthur I want coins on. And then my back row is just, you know, Bedivere or Herc, whatever. But that is such an easy way to do this stage. It's super smooth. Oh, she has more NP gain up versus Charm, I see. Interesting. Okay, so we gotta do Antonio, and then we're gonna use the Switch Mystic code. I wish I could test this though with Castoria, just because most people are going to summon a friend's Castoria. Although, how often do Castorias have the key? I mean, we're not testing this stage specifically. We're testing just general loopability on any farming stage. But for this stage, you'd obviously would want one like this that's got the QP thing. Yeah, for this stage, there's no need for any of this though. Like, this stage is very easy to 3-turn with just Rider stuff and general AoE stuff, etc., etc. Okay, let's see if we can find Antonio here. Okay, there's a 71 if you do want to try that. But I think it's only fair that we do a Grailed one, because anyone that's a big Antonio fan is obviously going to have Grailed him. That's just... clearly, like, ain't nobody gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use Antonio for everything, and I'm also not going to Grail him. Like, that's not a thing. That's not real. Alright, is there a way that we can fix the wonkiness with, Do I have his passive? I do, but it's not leveled. Hold on, let me look at his numbers here. It's actually really worth doing, because then you could do, like, Black Grail or whatever. So he's 80%, but because I haven't leveled it, he's 72%. So yeah, he can Black Grail do stuff if you get his passive leveled, but we're trying to be really budgety, and you wouldn't necessarily have a Black Grail. Although, if you don't have a Black Grail, you don't need MLB Black Grail to do this. You could do non-Limit Broken Heavens feel, and it would probably still work. And stuff like that. But let's see here. So he's got his own art. Honestly, actually, this is one of the better CEs we have right now. If I wasn't going to do one of those really hard-hitting ones. Yeah, I guess we'll just stick with that for now. Besides, everyone else has had to work with those restrictions. I don't think he's going to do super well here because he doesn't have a battery. I think they all do the same though, like, if they have Castoria. Like, I think all of these units we've tested will do this pretty smoothly with Castoria. You don't technically need the attack up if things just go really well here. But, you know, let's just do that, not fuck around here. Besides, every other unit has had to do that. Kat, I've actually tricked you into QP farming stream, apparently. Although I don't think I even need QP that much. I don't know what the fuck we're doing right now. You know, I think I need to do this just for the art up. It sucks, but it is what it is. I would be awfully surprised if he looped here. Yeah, obviously a Barrage Wave 1 is really good, but at that point you can just use the Switch Mystic Code and you got like a patrol. Wow, though! Damn! Alright, shit! That's a lot better than I thought it was gonna be. Unfortunately, we had to waste some of our damage, though. Let's see the damage. Everyone else is like half HP or less, quite a bit less on some of those. Yeah, he's about the same. Nothing special here. Although, you know, he's easier to get, so there's that. But yeah, they're all been pretty equal. I think Kama probably was the most impressive, but it was pretty close. If he gets buffs, though, he can actually surpass some of his competition here. Because Antonio really is not the strongest 3-star in, like, in comparison, right? Like, he's not the coup of an AoE Avenger, right, if you will. But yeah, almost everybody did about the same here. But yeah, he gets like a good buff. Let's see who did a little bit better here. Okay, now we incorporate the Switch. And we could incorporate the Switch and a Rosh, but that's like really not practical, and it would cut down on the amount of bond farming you were doing and that kind of stuff. Not that bond farming is that important, but... Okay, we need what's her face with Vanilla K scope or Sakura scope, Ilya scope, any of that if we can get that. And then obviously we need Kama again and Space Ishtar again. Now for the final wave, the best free-to-play unit is Mozart, definitely. But for helping with I guess it would depend on the unit. It's going to be hard to handcraft this because I got to remember each thing. So if the unit needs damage, you would bring Mozart. But if just a little bit more NP gain gets them like a loop without needing more battery, right? Then there's some other units you could go with. And actually, Bedivere is not so bad because Bedivere does give NP damage up and NP gain up. Okay, let's look at what's the free-to-play options though. What do we got here? Start at the top because some things are grailed. Guys, waiver. I mean, honestly, most people do have waiver these days. And waiver would obviously make this very easy, but we'll go without just because. But yeah, most people are going to have something. They're either going to have waiver or they're going to summon their friends Castoria, because I don't think a lot of people summon a friend's DPS for farming. Well, I don't know. If you're really early on the account, actually, you might. Okay. There's Caster Guild, but obviously that's a little bit rarer, so we won't do that. He'd be very, very good, though, because he's damage and NP gain up, and just art up good. A 3-turn art up is really nice for what we're doing right now. Okay, so Bedivir's fine. He's a little bit rarer, though, because you have to do Camelot to have him, but you don't need him to be in high NP rank for this. So that's an option. What else we got? I guess Ushi's an option, actually. She gives NP gain up and attack up. That's it. That's kind of wonky, but that is a thing, and Ushi's a very common level up, actually. And there's Boudica, because she's art up. She's not leveled very much. I'm sure somebody has leveled Boudica just for some bizarre farming purpose, or just because they like Boudica, but yeah, Bedivere and Ushi are way more common, so I don't think we're going with Boudica on that one. It's not an Arknights stream, indeed. Honestly, it might be Ushi. Let me look at the numbers here. And Ushi is just such a common level up that I feel like it's a really reliable thing. So she's 20% NP gain up, and then 20% attack up. And then Bedivere, he might actually be pretty much the same. We'll see. He is 20% NP up. Oh, he's 30% NP gain up. Damn, so he's a little bit ahead there. But you get NP up instead of attack up, and attack up is better, I would say. The only thing is, like, newer accounts that are maybe a bit weaker, they may not have done Bedivire's buff quest yet, but I guess it's true for Ushi too, to be honest. Alright, let's try Bedivere, because I want Bedivere Bond anyway. That's kind of interesting. Alright, do the switch. That is not what I expected to bring. Now, if you're set, though, on NP gain, you would absolutely do Mozart. Actually, I think I do Ushi, and it's because I want the attack up for Hohenheim, and it lasts 3 turns. Because Hohenheim is just really pushing his luck, and I'm not a fan of that. So, unfortunately, I think Ushi is the one here. I am shocked my Ushi is only Bond 6, but now that I think about it, I only ever use Ushi for like challenge quests and stuff. I don't ever like put her in the back row for farming. So she pretty much got from Bond 1 to 6 purely from being used in challenge quests, which when you think about it that way, that's actually not so bad. By the way, why does she have a Frankenstein skirt? Like, we got one layer here that's red, and then another layer that's white, and then another layer that's purple, and we got... Now this might just be a pattern, it might not be another layer, it's hard to... Actually, nope, that's another layer. You can see it right here. It's like bumped up more. So it's another layer. So yeah, red layer, white layer, purple layer, yellow layer, and then green crack thing. And then blue, there's a little blue in here for some fucking reason. I don't know what's holding that in, but you know, that's a thing. Like, what the actual fuck? But yeah, it looks dumb. It doesn't look as dumb as, like, you know, all of this, but it's close. Ushi just can't nail that fashion. Can we get... Well, how come fucking Melty Blood gets the censored version of Ushi that looks better? Can we just have that? Like, fuck. And they used it in the craft essence not too long ago as well. Oh crap, there is one problem. Depending on the unit, sometimes they need the battery from Jufu later instead of on turn 1. Now, I think with her it's okay, but that is a thing. I never really thought about Jufu for farming. I do wonder how practical she is, though, for free-to-play stuff. If she's just in vanilla FP summon, she's not story locked or anything like that. Okay, you gotta cast like a billion things on turn 1 there, but... Oh yeah, we'll allow leveling up Phantom soon. I just wanted to get a little bit of time to get LMD and XP and stuff like that, but I'll enable it soon. I've already got the thing ready, I just have to toggle it. Wow, he got 45% and he didn't even use his skill there. That's not bad. Okay, so... she's gonna loop here like no matter what. Ushi really is good here though because she makes Hohenheim better. Like that's super good. Alright, let's see what we get. I'm gonna be so impressed here if we loop without using the battery. Like that'd be really, really good. So close. So with Bedivere, she'll do it. Like the extra 10% from Bedivere would definitely be enough. So if you didn't need the team, because Bedivere's damage up is just in. Wait a minute. No, Bedivere can work because he got buffed. He's a 3-turn NP up, not a 1-turn anymore. Oh shit. So yeah, we would have looped there if it was Bedivere. Yeah, Bedivere is actually the way to go then. I forgot that he got buffed like that. It's weird that I remembered that he got buffed and had NP gain up, but I forgot that they also made his NP damage up 3 turns. Because, you know, he needed the help. So you could also give Ushi, if you had it, like vanilla K-scope, and if she has her passive, then she could NP this and kill it for you. So there's options here. At that point, though, you're probably just going to have access to a Friend's Cat story. If you were like that, upgraded. Oh yeah, I guess the elephant is divine, isn't it? Definitely not killing there. Well, it made the beginning a lot smoother, and potentially, if like that was Bedivere, I could NP again here because I'd still have my battery. But yeah, if you wanted to punch through this last enemy, I think your only chance would be Mozart, because Mozart will not only give you the much larger damage up, but he'd give you the guaranteed crits too. Like ultimately, this is not a stage that's good for the units that we're testing though, because the final enemies can't be enough. However, it does make it more impressive if we can pull it off. But Ushi and Bedivere definitely make the team better. It just happens to not be enough for this final enemy, but it makes everything else fire better. That was a really weird voice line. That was a thing. So I'll give Kama this. Out of all the like space thoughts, she's like the least fail. I'll give her that because at least like the lore makes sense to an extent and all that. Although it should be a guy and they're just cowards. Like they're just cowards. I'm just saying it. They're just fucking cowards. They can't make like a love god that's a guy. Because they don't got the balls for it. But anyway, yeah, out of the thoughterly nonsense, she's got like she's the most reasonable, I guess, in terms of like the way they made the character and everything. Still not really a fan though. But like fucking Kiara is pretty crap. So we don't really need to test everybody. Everybody's gonna have the same performance here with adding in Ushi, or although actually not quite the same. I think Kama's probably the only one with Bedivere that could loop straight up like that. And that really is meaningful. That's like in some, not in this stage it's not, but like in a lot of farming stages, that's big. Like that, being able to just clear a wave and instantly NP again without needing to use your battery skill and stuff, that's really good. I don't think any of the other ones would be able to do it. But what we could test now instead is like trying to make Mozart work and see if that's enough damage at the end. Although with that, we should probably just stick with the same unit real quick to see the difference before we do anything too wacky. Now, the hard thing about this is just the beginning bit. Although I'm kind of curious if you could just not use Hohenheim, if you could actually NP enough that way. You'd have to use the art up prematurely if you did it that way. Why am I not scrolling down to my 1 stars? Now, you could also help by doing this, but then you're like cutting into your farming CEs and stuff, so we won't do that. Not that these two are actually doing much, but you could have other farming CEs like the bond up, etc, etc. But yeah, these are generating 4,000 QP every game, and that is essentially nothing. Actually, that's so little that we're just gonna bring these instead for our boy Hurt. He's so close, Chet. I wish Mori was close, but the thing is, Mori needs to get to like Bond 13 or 14 or some crap for it to even matter. Oh god, that's so depressing. I should probably bring Bedivere instead, actually, because Bedivere doesn't need as much to get his like second passive, and Bedivere getting his second passive is a really big deal. Because Mori's already got one of his passives, actually. You know, at this point, I wonder if you just don't use Jufu and use something else instead. I'm not sure. Yeah, Nitocris Alter has not been in the story whatsoever yet, but she's obviously going to be. If I actually started farming Bond and going as fast as possible, I could absolutely get Bond 10 on the stream today, but I am probably not going to do that. Although I really should try to get Bond 10 Herc before Lost Belt 7-2 drops. I don't know if we can really call it Lost Belt 7-2 because it's still just Lost Belt 7-1, it's just a time lock. It's not like Lost Belt 5, like it's not like that at all. I guess you could do the attack up here. It's not as big of a sacrifice. If you did have Mozart's Bond CE though, that passive NP up would be enough. Like Hohenheim only needs a tiny bit of damage to do this. So what I'm getting out of this though is Kama is better than Spacious Tar and Nitocris, I think, for the most part. Because now all three of them are strong enough if you're using Castoria, and there's very little difference between them. But I do think she has a little bit more potential. Well, it depends, because Nitocris has the 100% battery, and that is really big. If like the enemies are really, really tough, and you are an account that has Black Grail or Heaven's Feel. Now, a lot of accounts aren't going to have that for a while, but if you do have those, there is real potential there. So there's definitely some apples and oranges, but honestly, most of it's not that relevant. Because like, if most people are going to be using Castoria, then they're all going to be looping, and they're all going to be doing enough damage. But I do feel like because of her charm bonus, she has the potential to just get an extra loop in with a lot less buffs than the other ones. Now, I could do this buff now, but we obviously need to save it, so we're just not going to do that. But it'd be interesting to see what her NP gain would be like if she had that. They'd probably go all the way to 100. Yeah, I'd probably do it. Alright, got 2 cards. It's fairly normal RNG, I would say. We do not have the attack up though. Let's see how much of a difference Mozart makes. I mean, noticeable. Very noticeable. Oh shit. So, that's actually the first setup we've done that can 3-turn, but it won't always 3-turn because you have to get some cards at the end. But yeah, Mozart, definitely really good there just because of all that damage. I wonder which one of the 3 Avengers, though, would do the best there. Funnily enough, actually, I think Antonio is the best if we make him make 4 instead of 3 there, because Antonio's got the big crit up. I bet you he could do it with like just 1 card, depending if like someone else got a Buster card. Like if he had his art card, someone else could do the first card Buster bonus. I bet you he could do it. It is sad though that I can't test Castoria because I think my theory is correct that all 3 of them would pretty much just... The differences would be completely irrelevant. They're all going to be doing enough looping and damage and stuff. Although, whoever is the worst on damage out of the lot might still need the Switch Mystic Code to bring in like Mozart or something at the end. Because they are kind of mismatched for that final wave. And yeah, the Fate Lost characters are cool. Like, I've been saying this for a while. I'm not rolling at all right now because I want to save up for Strange Fate, but also Fate Lost. So between those 2 things, there's a lot of characters that I want. So I want to get my SQ stockpile up to like, 3,000 or some crap. So I need to just save. FGO gives out a lot of free SQ though, so hopefully it doesn't take too long. Normally, you can get 2,000 pretty quickly, actually. Kind of surprising. Baba Yaga's cool. Ragnar's cool. Lagartha's cool. I'm not clear if she'll be a servant or not, but she probably will. Let's be honest. But yeah, we've already got 1,200. Unfortunately, though, I've been using my summon tickets. I threw like 40 summon tickets at Kodamine, and didn't get them because he's a dick. But anyway, I kind of wish I'd been saving those because a lot of people really only factor in the SQ, but summon tickets add up pretty quick, like shockingly quick. So yeah, if I do both, I think we'll be in good shape here. Yeah, the Saber is like the one thing from Fate Lost I don't want. And in Percival, I already have. Like, Percival's actually one of my favorite things there, but I already have them. So, I don't need. I got spooked by Percival too. I think my Percival was NP2 and now he's NP3. Let me check. I'm pretty sure that yeah, he's NP3. But it'd be nice to get him higher NP rank at some point, because he's a 4-star, but he does great as is. Yeah, actually, you could do art looping with Percival on that stage we were just doing without much trouble. He actually might do a bit more damage than some of those other ones just because of, well, no, I mean, they're Avengers, so they get that extra mod, and most of them are 5-stars, but still. He needed to be an Archer stage, but he would absolutely do better than them on an Archer stage. Same for Fionn, Cedric, etc. I'm trying to think, what is my best art looper on my account, though? Probably Percival, actually, now that I think about it. I don't roll for a lot of the, like, 5-star broken shit, like, Space Ishtar and Nitocris and all that. I don't care about them very much, so... I don't art loop much, to be honest. When I'm farming, I normally take advantage of units that have like a lot of self battery, like Mordred or something like that, and I kind of build around that. Normally bring like 2 DPS and stuff, but generally I'm able to 3-turn pretty... Wait, do I have Masashi? I do have Masashi. When did that happen? I remember my NA account getting Masashi, but I don't... When the fuck did I get that? But I don't know if she's actually my best, because one, I have apparently never used her ever, because she has 0 bond. Like, that's a thing. And she's 1/1/1, so yeah, I'm pretty sure my Percival would do better. I don't know though, Berserkers are really good because they just get really good damage against everything. So like killing that statue at the end is not too big of a deal. No, I'm not sorting by date. That's how you get your account stolen. Jesus Christ, dude. Like, guess what one of the main recovery questions is? Like, it's already annoying enough because when you stream, you already put out, like, way too much information that lets people steal your account, but that's a big no-no. Yeah, I know, we really just do need an account system. Yeah, do not ever show your date stuff on stream. It might have been a GSSR or something like that, I don't know. Okay, then I'm trying to think what I want to actually test here. I mean, we could test Percival, but I might go fight like Lobo on my ult account or something. I mean, I don't need a nuke to vault. I didn't show anything that you need. If I did, then I would nuke it, but is there any difference between the original Gundam and the movie compilation? The movie has a lot less filler and gets to the point a lot faster, but there is some like side character subtle stuff that you're just going to completely miss out on. But here's the thing. This is just my opinion. There's some objectivity in what I'm about to say, but there's a lot of subjectivity. But I don't think the original Gundam is like good enough to really give a shit. So if you're wanting to just kind of get the gist of it, just to get to know the basics of the story, and because obviously it connects to a million other Gundam shows, I would just watch the movie because it's way faster. You'll know enough. All the hardcore Gundam fans are going to act like you're just missing everything and it's just so pointless. It's not. It's fine. The movie is totally fine. The original Gundam is not a very good story to get your head out of your ass. I'm a huge Gundam fan, but like the original Gundam is just not a very good story, and it is aged like fucking cheese. I don't know, like it's not good, right? It's very old and shitty. So yeah, if you want to just, you know, get the Gundam lore, yeah, Milk, there we go, that's the one. But yeah, just the movie is fine. Like literally the movie is fine because the anime is so long. Some people like the original Gundam, but they're mostly boomers. I'm just gonna say it, they're mostly boomers. I don't know what to do because this game has no content. Yeah, I'm a boomer, but I at least have enough objectivity to not be clouded by nostalgia. Although, to be honest, I never really liked it when it was airing. I still thought it was meh. I'll stream Epic 7 later, but I will do that, because I know they did a big update. I'm kind of wanting to check that out. Oh yeah, we never did do Santa Carna versus Richard. Excuse me, yeah, we'll do that. I was wanting to do this stage one more time, because I actually don't know how much QP I have right now, and I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
Almost 500 million. It's not too bad. Alright. Yeah, I remember I told Ace I would do this like a month ago, and then we just didn't. Wait, okay, there we go. Look, he's got the command codes and everything. However, I can't help but notice, Ace, that although you're NP5, you're level 100, you're 10, 10, 10, and you have good command codes, there are better craft essences out there. You know, like, yeah, that's an okay one. You know, having that quick up is nice. Helps you when you NP, helps you when you do these 2 quick cards. But here's the thing about Santa Carna, chat. He's got like Buster Up and Crit Up, right? So you still want to do these Buster cards. That's an important part of his toolkit, chat. You mix it up between like quick with the NP, and then maybe a Rainbow Chain, right? Or Buster, Quick Buster, stuff like that. And so the quick up from this craft essence isn't going to do anything for some of those turns, right? And that's not so good. Where if you had something more universal that would help, you still want to help the quick cards, you don't want to abandon those, but that could also help these Buster cards. And you know what? Because we're soloing, chat, there's something else, chat. There's your extra attack. You're going to be doing that every turn. So we actually would like a craft essence that makes the quick cards here do more damage, the NP do more damage, and if you do Rainbow Chain, you want that art card doing more damage too, chat. And we want these Buster cards and the extra attack to do more. There is not a lot of craft essences that can do this, chat, so we got to think this one through. So we might want this starting NP, right, to make sure we can NP turn 1 on the boss. That's important. Got to get the ball rolling, right? Cast the skills right away, don't have to wait, mess up your cooldowns and stuff. So we're going to want starting NP, and then probably attack up, right? So I'm thinking something like Golden Sumo, chat. I think that might be the one. I love that mute emote, by the way. I remember when I added that, that's kind of why I added it. That's the interesting though. Alright, let's see what... funny thing though, chat, memes aside here, now we're being serious. Was anything I just said wrong, by the way? Because that's the thing, everyone likes to joke about it and roll their eyes and stuff. But everything I just said is actually true, right? Like, Golden Sumo actually is, like, really good for a unit like Santa Carna. Like, he's like the perfect example of a unit that really wants a CE like that. Especially when soloing. Is the wiki down for anyone else? Let me see. Nope, seems to be working for me. If you mean the FGO wiki. Where's my Oroch? I know he's grailed. Where are you at? There he is. Man, I use Oroch all the time, and I've never 10-10-10'd his skills, so I only tend the battery stuff. Because it's not particularly necessary. Chad, I haven't played Genshin Impact seriously in an ungodly amount of time, and I'm reminded of this because this is Child's boss theme. But I saw they added a new character, I think today or yesterday or something like that. And he's got like lots of green powers, and that's awesome. Very good shaded green. But he literally is just like, he looks like Kaya, like every other male character. They just use the same fucking body type for everything, and they have the same. It's like, what is wrong with them, dude? That game makes so much money. Like, that game makes so much money. How did he not make more animations? I can't fathom that, dude. It is so fucked up. By the way, I gotta say it, chat. Gotta say it. Genshin Impact peaked with Child, right? Like, the early story was decent enough because like Mondstadt was interesting and like it was actually kind of fun learning about the characters. But then right as you're kind of getting into it and you want to learn more about like Diluc and what's going on with the city and stuff, you leave Mondstadt and they never develop those characters further, and it's ridiculous, right? And then Lee, kind of the same thing, but they actually had a lot of build up to Child, and there was a lot of stuff like with the city and stuff going on, just like with Mondstadt, but it actually had a way better like peak, right? They really really got somewhere with that Child boss fight. Really big drama there because he's kind of a frenemy, but it's like, you know, really getting serious. Really good boss fight and all that stuff, especially before they nerfed it, and then they nerfed it because fuck you. And then you had he has one of the only good side stories that really meaningfully flesh out the character more. Like, a lot of the side stories to Genshin Impact kind of like hint at the character, but then they don't do anything with it. right? Where Childs like actually did something, right? And it actually mattered. So Genshin really peaked. Like that actually is why at the time I thought Genshin had kind of a good story, right? Because Mondstadt was intriguing. I thought we would go back and they'd actually keep finishing that stuff. They didn't. And then Liwa, although I don't like the Chinese vibes very much, it was still, you know, pretty good how they kind of built up to all that, and it was a really good like climax with Child there, and then the side story, and then it just everything went to shit, right? It peaked like a champion, and then it just fell off. It was such a sharp peak that the fall was really, really rough. And yeah, their story is awful now, and now they never do anything with any of the characters, and like it. I don't even get it. I feel like I feel like the like have this issue in Genshin where they're always hinting at like actual character development, and then they don't. Because they don't in events. I know what Genshin's about. Like they do the same thing in events, right? Occasionally they'll develop a little bit, but they don't really do anything with it, right? They might hint at something. They might make like Mona become friends with what was her name, Fish, right? They do shit like that, but they don't do anything with it. It doesn't matter, right? And then you got what's the ice spear person, Rosaria or something, right? They never did anything with that character, right? They were hinting at like a million things, and they did like nothing happens. Literally nothing happens, right? That's like the game, dude. That game is a mess. Also, why does that game not have a cutscene skip? Like, I can't even fathom why it doesn't have it, right? Like, yeah, a lot of people are there for the story, and they don't have to skip. And then all the people that aren't there for the story can skip. And like, here's the thing. I am interested in some of Genshin's story, but they do a lot of like side content that is such a snores fest. And they're like obsessed. That game is obsessed with like, you're doing the main story, and then someone's like, well, you gotta go talk to this vendor. And then you gotta talk to the vendor about selling fruit for like an hour. And then you have to help him with like a plot from another fruit vendor trying to steal his like supply shipment. And then it's like, I don't care about this, right? It's that game just infuriates me. I swear, when I go back to it, because I haven't like played it in forever, I'm gonna have to sit through like 9 hours of cutscenes before I get to do anything, because that's just how that game is, dude. It's so bad. Like, holy shit. What is wrong with all these video game developers though, man? I swear to God, it's like these mobile games just cannot hire good staff or some shit. 9 hours is generous? Yeah, apparently. So even though I haven't played Genshin seriously in a really long time, what I have done over like the last year is every once in a while, I will log in and I will put Genshin on my second monitor, and I'll like just autopilot through story stuff in what's the Weeb Zone, whatever, what lightning fuck place. That place is awful. I cannot believe how bad the story was there. That was shockingly bad. But anyway, so I have to get through like all the side content and like the chasm stuff and all the like just the not Archon quests. Cause I did that a long time ago. The side story for like the main characters you have to do and stuff. So I'll just like put it on auto and just let it play out. So I've gotten through a chunk of it. So whenever I do go back to it, I can go to the new zone right away. I think maybe. But yeah, even though I only do it like every once in a while and like just for like one time, and then I won't do it for a long, you know, like days and days or weeks. I think I've gotten through most of it. I think. I'm not sure though, but God, that fucking game kills me, dude. It could be so much better so easily. And like, how does that game not have like actual like dungeons, right? Like they make dungeons every once in a while for like an event or like a story, but you can't repeat it, and it's not very hard. So like, why don't we have like repeatable dungeons that have like proper level layouts, right? Where you move to the dungeon, right? You got some light puzzles and platforming, you fight some mobs, some mini bosses, and an actual boss, and like that. Why is that not repeatable like in-game content? Like I literally don't understand. Like what are we doing here? Why is he alive? Oh, it's because I was in such autopilot. I Roshan peed when I wasn't supposed to. Excuse me. Yeah, I'll check out the green zone because it's green. I'll probably wait a little bit, maybe wait for another major update or so, just to give them more of a chance to like sort their shit out. Also, I'm just busy with other games right now, but at some point we'll do a stream or two and we'll go back to it and check it out and probably cry. I'll try to give it a fair shot. I'll try to put my my low expectations aside and see maybe because like the writing in what was that zone called? Zuma or whatever, Zoomerland, whatever. The Japanese zone, the writing in that place was just unbelievably bad. I mean, it was like amateur bad. So I'm kind of expecting the writing to just continue to be that kind of amateur level of bad. But you know, I'll give it a chance. Right? Yeah, I remember rewards are never really that important to me in video games. I like interesting gameplay, right? Like, I just want to fight a boss that has a well-designed moveset and is balanced well, and, right, you can't overstat it super easily, or you're not going to understat it super easily either, right? Like, you know, fun dungeons, fun, you know, enemies with, you know, cool designs or fun movesets to figure out, and, you know, fun characters to master. I don't give a shit about, you know, loot, really. Like, sure, if you got a fun loot system, that's great, but that's not really the important bit for me. Yeah, I know, that was very silly the way Nito showed off Japan there. That some people acted like that wasn't like a slant at Japan. It so was, dude. Like, and it was just full of it. Like that whole story, like all the things the NPCs would say throughout, and it was just so blatantly taking a shot at Japan, dude. I was like, how are people defending this? Okay, I want to make as many stars as possible here. You would never want to play Genshin again from the beginning. Like, the amount of dialogue that you have to go through is unbelievable. Like, oh my god. Like, I think a lot of vets of Genshin don't realize, because like they're always at the cutting edge, if you will, so they're only doing whatever is new, right? But the amount of filler bullshit, and like, because you guys don't remember, like, a lot of times, like, some of these, like, filler events they would put out, like, even main story bits, where they put out, like 2 or 3 main story quests, like, with that guy with the eye patch and whatnot, that you have to do, but it's, like, meaningless, right? And there's so much of that, like, Jesus Christ. And yeah, there's no skipping. There is no skipping. Because when I go back to the game for a bit, my stream is going to be cheating, right? Because I have been logging in, you know, a day or two here and there to just get a lot of the bullshit cutscene spam out of the way, so I can, you know, get to the new stuff faster, right? But that's not going to be the typical player experience. It's honestly so badly designed, it's like shocking to me, and I'm actually surprised they're as profitable as they are, but I think most of their player base is not new players. I can't imagine Genshin brings in new players that well. They probably do better than FGO, I'll say that. FGO is, like, absolutely not bringing in new players, but... Alright, let's see. I think we quick chain into a rainbow chain. It really sucks that the Buster card's got so much crit chance here. But I think I don't know, you could rainbow chain right there and then save the heal command code. That's a tough call. I gotta give you an ad, yep, targeted. No crit, feels bad. 64 stars though. Fuck! Oh my god, I was gonna rainbow chain with the attack up, with the buster up, and crit up, dude. Oh man. If we just crit earlier, it'd have been fine. That is a huge hit to our value. Oh my god, no. I'm cheating. I'm doing it for science, so I don't have to reset a bunch of times. Because very, like, reliably, you could have done that. This is just like a what if we actually got it. So, and actually, this is still not as good as if we got it legit. Because if we got it legit, we would have crit and done more damage last turn. So this is still inferior, but I just want to see it here. Unsubbing. That's a really cool idea. A lot of damage, all things considered. Let's see. You're not gonna get any Nemo propaganda for me. I'm not a Nemo fan. I guess I rainbow chain again. 70% versus the bonus damage. Probably the 70%. I'm gonna put quick last though, actually, because I want stars here. I still want the AP gain, obviously, but I probably could have done Art Buster quick, actually. Would have done slightly more damage and maybe like 1 or 2 more stars. Do I still have heal boost? I do. This is awkward though, but I'd have to do a pretty shitty combo if I wanted to get that extra 500. I think I just take the 1,500. I mean, Captain Nemo, like if we're talking about not in FGO, right, is fine, but they are so far away from the source material on that one. You know, out there killing giant squids and shit, you know. I remember when I was a kid, and like whenever that story would get brought up, and I think there was a movie and stuff like that, everyone, the common thing was like, oh yeah, giant squids don't actually exist, where, or they've gone extinct. That's what like everyone thought back then, was giant squids had gone extinct. But no, they're still a thing. And when you think about it in hindsight, I have no idea why so many people were so confident that giant squids were extinct when you consider how we knew absolutely nothing about the deep sea back then. Like, I mean, we knew so little about the deep sea back then. Like, it's really weird that we had enough confidence to say something like that. We have learned a lot more, though, about the deep sea in recent years. Like, our knowledge of that has definitely skyrocketed. But, yeah, we still have a long way to go now. Although, if you go back and look, a lot of times, it's kind of like with the Karen thing. The people that speak up are the ones that are, you know, jumping the gun, if you will. I'm sure there were lots of scientists and stuff out there that were like, yeah, we don't know. That's actually very common when you talk to actual scientists. Most actual scientists, you know, they're not famous. They're not like Neil deGrasse Tyson or something, right? They're not going on TV. They're not making statements, right? They're normally very antisocial, right? Like, no offense, it is what it is. So most actual scientists are just keep to themselves and don't, you know, talk to the public much. And it's actually very common for them to just be like, yeah, we don't know. It's very, very, very common for normal scientists to just say, yeah, we don't know. But yeah, the mainstream's not going to run with that, right? The news isn't going to run with that. The few people that do speak up are the ones that are going to get public attention, and that's going to make the public think the general consensus is like, oh yeah, we know they're extinct and stuff, where a lot of times that's not, actually. Yeah, they normally do their damn job. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I know a scientist that works for like a small lab. And yeah, it's just like a random lab no one's ever heard of. They don't do any interviews and stuff, but they do a lot of like cutting edge research in some fields that are pretty unpopular, so it's pretty interesting. Fucking Lost is over there working on planes and shit. Okay, we gotta do this. Kinda sucks that this didn't sync up right there, but... Karna's doing alright though, for being a welfare. Like, a lot of welfares just really don't keep up in my experience, but he's doing pretty good right here. I think I'm gonna rainbow chain, just because of these fucking crits, man. Take the 70. Megalodon is really easy to predict that it's not alive because all of the things you find of it are so old, and then also the ecosystem couldn't sustain it, right? It's really easy to just predict that it's not a thing anymore because first off, does not seem to be a deep sea creature like giant squids are. And all of the teeth, like, if it was still around, we'd be finding teeth of it that aren't fucking ancient, right? We'd be finding more recent stuff. And all we find of it is ancient, and then it just, the planet has changed so much that there's not enough, like, food in the ocean for it to sustain itself. Like, no way. So it is very unlikely that it still exists. Now, sure, there may be some deep sea sharks we're unaware of. It's totally possible. But the odds of it being Megalodon specifically are not very good. And also, just due to the... If there is like a deep sea shark we're unaware of, it probably is very much not like Megalodon because their teeth would be making it to shore still. Unless they have like incredibly brittle teeth or they don't have teeth or something very bizarre. Fuck, we didn't loop. Feels bad. Alright, well we want the heal boost, so we'll do... we'll do that. Sometimes they hear about some beastly whale out there. I see what you did. I see what you did there. Fucking Buster down, by the way. We don't have a... Are we gonna win? Oh shit, I remember we... What has changed? What? Oh, he got anti-saber, didn't he? He has anti-saber now. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, this is quite the improvement since we used him on release. Cause he failed pretty hard on release, I remember. Alright, we probably need to bail out. I think we might actually win here. And even if we don't win this turn, he's not killing us here. And then we get to hit him again with a crit turn and the heal. So yeah, we've won. He's done it. Although I should science it just to see if, like which turn it's on, I suppose. Now, we did use a CS, but that CS was not necessary. That was just making up for, like, that bad turn that we could have just crit on and that wouldn't have happened. But I think he actually could win without it. If he lives this turn, then he definitely could have won without it. Because, yeah, we can have some pretty serious excess value here. I'm gonna go slow-mo so I have more time to zeep the app. I'm glad he's one of the more, like... Oh, no, that's dead. That's very dead. Okay, we're out of there. That's what's Buster down, by the way. Arjuna who feels bad. But yeah, that was a big improvement. That passive adds up pretty quick. And I guess we have slightly better command codes and stuff like that. Kind of want to try Mordred. I don't think she could do it, but she has anti-saber as well, but she's AoE. So I don't think she could do it, but I'm curious how far she can get. Arthur can do it at level 90, but it's very RNG. If he was like 100 though, then it'd be pretty easy. Okay, I might switch to my ult account actually, so we can maybe use Nitocris against, actually, I tell you what, let's use Nitocris against the dragon for real, because we didn't actually do that, we were showing off animations. We'll try her for realsies here and see how she does. I doubt she'll do that well, but we'll give her a go. Nito's really good for farming. Not really any better or worse, though, than the other AoE Avengers out there. And then for, like, challenge quest solo stuff, I think she's kind of bad, to be honest. But unless her niches are coming up, or you really need, like, the team of 8 or something like that. Like, the thing is, if you're doing a challenge quest where you're fighting, like, 3 or 4 enemies, right? Like, it's an AoE challenge quest, and then you're using Nitocris, and you're using, like, Castoria and all that, all of the AoE Art Avengers are going to work, right? If you take enough time to make the setup proper, it's going to work with all of them. So she's nothing new, but the thing is, it's kind of hard for them to make anything new in that regard because the power creep. Units are so broken. It's so easy for so many units to min-turn and do so much OP bullshit that it's pretty hard for units to kind of distinguish themselves like that. Okay, we'll use NP2. I think that's fair. Hold on. Atlas or default? Let me look at her skill cooldowns. And, like, the more powerful your skills, the better Atlas is. Also, in this fight specifically, being Buster makes you want Atlas more. I mean, her skills are pretty good. Okay, you know what? Because of her first skill having that heal, I think we go with Atlas. That's pretty legit. Yeah, the thing is, farming is easy. That's just the thing. It's free-to-play or whale, it's easy to make good farming teams these days. Like, it's really easy. So being a strong farming unit isn't a bad thing, but it doesn't mean much. Like, oh wow, you're a good farming unit, like, you know, a million other units, so it's kind of whatever. But if you like her, she's definitely usable. And, like, here's the thing. If you really like Nitocris Alter, you mainly just need to use her when it's actually AoE content, right? Like when you're fighting 2 bosses or 3 bosses at once or more, then you can make her work, absolutely. You might have to work a little bit harder than some of the other powerhouses out there. Like, there's some AoE units out there that they can work with really budgety teams and still just clean the AoE boss's clocks, right? She's not quite like that. If you got a tough AoE boss fight, you're still gonna need some stronger units to work with her, but you can definitely do it, right? She's very usable in hard content if you want her to be. But yeah, she could use a little bit of, I think like a Guts or something like that would really help, just a little bit more survivability, because if she had any kind of hard survival to work with her heal, then she'd be a kind of a tanky, you know, AoE, and because she's an Avenger, she can work against any class, and that's really good, because when you fight AoE stages, like when you fight like the Summer 3 challenge quest, right, you're fighting every class under the sun, right? So being an Avenger is actually very good for that. See, that's the thing. I wish this game was an ass, because I'd love to use Nitocris here on a budget team and go fight the Summer 3 challenge quest. That'd be an excellent way to see how is she doing, right? Because that's an AoE challenge quest. And Avengers are good there because there's so many different classes and stuff. That'd be a fantastic way to test her, right? And then we could use, and it'd be really cool too, because that'd give me a reason to use some other units that I don't use on stream very often, right? Like today we used Kama and Space Ishtar, which I normally don't use, right? So, and those are very applicable against her, right? So we could do like budget teams against Summer 3 challenge quest, use Nitocris, but then do Kama, then do Ishtar and stuff. So that'd be great. So yeah, replayable content. What a concept. I'm gonna BRB real quick, and I'm gonna get water and stuff. So give me just 1 second here, chat. No chat. Kind of messed up because it's really hard for me to make YouTube videos these days because there's no replayable content. And like, for example, I'm not a whale. Some people think I am. I'm not. I'm not a fucking whale. So I can't get every new unit, right? So for example, one of the only ways you could kind of test her right now in a practical setting would be doing like Darius Advanced Quest, because it's one of the only replayable bits of content that we have, right? And so, although it's not super hard, you can still kind of see her value if you used, and like my thing is like doing budget stuff, right? So I can make a video that's like, you know, Nitocris on a budget team, right? So everyone else on the team is budget, and then Nitocris is the one rare thing. But because I'm not a whale, I literally can't do that, because you can't do advanced quests with your friends' units, right? So yeah, it sucks. So if we could like replay old challenge quests, I could do that. I could summon a friend's Nitocris, make everything on the team budget, and that's a unique, interesting way to see how the unit performs, right? And I could go do Summer 3 challenge quest or whatever, and you know, there's a video, right? That'd be fun, and then you get to, you know, I get to do my editing with music and everything, and that'd be great, but nope, can't do that. And yeah, it's stupid. It sucks. Also, ironically, Summer 3 challenge quest, you fight Summer Nitocris, so that'd be applicable. Yeah, actually, there's many challenge quests you could use to show her off, but I probably would pick that challenge quest if I was gonna make a video, just because you do fight an enemy Nitocris, so. He's not a whale. Yeah, I'm that scammer all along, guys. I do remember that happened twice. That happened twice in the ancient past of the FGO community where people thought I was not a whale for some fucking reason. Like, it wasn't that they thought I was not a whale as in I had 2 accounts, it was things not a whale did got contributed to me. And people were like, oh yeah, that guy did blah 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 blah. And I'm like, no, I didn't do that. But yeah, people are stupid. That's the moral of the story here. Okay, NP gain it is, I guess. I actually don't want to kill this thing, so I'll just do art, quick art, same NP gain. Less damage and sergeant, but I don't need those. Killed it anyway, god damn it. Yeah, you can use your money responsibly and still spend money on gacha games. You just have to do it in very small chunks, right? The whole thing what you have to do, and most people just don't do this, and these games, by the way, are designed to get people not to do this. It's like all psychological. Like they're built ground up to prevent what I'm about to say. The smart thing to do is like, let's say, because people, you know, you spend money on entertainment and stuff, and that's fine, that's healthy, you should, right? You gotta enjoy life for fuck's sakes. But so you might spend some money on going to a movie, going to, you know, dinner with your family, going putt-putt golf, whatever, subscribing to your favorite Twitch streamer, you know, shit like that is all reasonable. And so what you find Minecraft, in a reasonable way to spend on a gacha game is you just budget it into like those kinds of expenses, right? So like, if you got like you want to put $60 a month or a week or whatever it is into, you know, entertainment or going to, you know, a restaurant with your family or whatever, you even budget the gacha into that. You know, maybe instead of buying The Last of Us when it released, right? You put $60 into a gacha game, so maybe so you just figure out what your budget is. You're like, okay, you know, once a month I'll spend $40 on a gacha game, right? And that's reasonable in my budget, right? And then what you do is you don't spend $40 and then roll right away. You know, you don't keep, because that gets you to keep spending until you get the thing that you want. You know, you don't do that. You just routinely buy $40 worth of SQ every month, regardless if you're rolling right now or not. It's probably best if you're not rolling, right? And then that way you just have a bigger stockpile when a character comes out that you do want, right? And you're more likely to get it or have stuff left over, or have if another banner comes out that you want really quickly, right? You're more likely to get them. But if you happen to not have enough SQ, you don't spend, right? You don't spend. Like, I cannot stress this enough. You do not spend as you go, right? You don't do that, right? You spend however much you're comfortable with spending, like however much you're comfortable with spending for a movie ticket, like however often you want to go to the movies. You're not going to go to the movies every week, right? Or every day, certainly, right? So you do the same thing, right? And that's how that's like the responsible thing to do. But these games are designed not to get people to do that. They're designed to make you think you don't need to spend any money on them until you need to spend money on them. So you don't spend, and then all of a sudden you need to spend $500 because of this rate up, right? And you keep spending until you get the thing, right? It's a trap, right? It's a trick. It's mental shenanigans. But yeah, I just don't spend at all. It's for a few reasons. One, because I don't want to deal with that kind of nonsense, all this mental gymnastic bullshit. And I just like being free to play. Like, it's just fun being a bit more limited and picking and choosing what you really want. And then here's the big one, right? Because like what Beastly does is pretty reasonable, right? Like Beastly doesn't just spend for the sake of spending. He doesn't. He picks and chooses the rate ups that he cares about, and that's the only time that like he goes for it, right? Beastly's not obtaining every new 5-star just to show off on Twitter, right? He's not doing that. He gets the new 5-star when he likes the new 5-star enough, right? But the thing about me is I don't like the new 5-star very often, right? Like, it's so rare that a new 5-star comes out that I'm like, oh man, I want that thing, right? So I don't even need to whale, generally speaking, right? It's not practical anyway. I'm a social media sensation, all due to my FGO roles, yeah. That's some people though, that's like what they're gunning for, and they're like, it's like an E-penis thing. They want to show off that that they're the whale that's got NP5, and they got the perfect supports from the past to work with them, and they can do the best 3-turn and blah blah blah, you know, it's very silly. Let's see, I mean, I liked Kodamine. I didn't like him enough to go ham. You know, I threw summon tickets at him, but that was it. Let's see, what was the last 5-star? Yeah, Constantine. Constantine's pretty good. Now, I didn't like him enough to roll on my main, but that's kind of, you know, my regular ult I'm really happy with. A lot of characters that I super like are on my ult account, like Achilles. But yeah, Constantine was really good. I did really like Constantine. Yeah, Gundam guy, he's really cool. He's up there. Yeah, those two are the last ones I can think of. And they were actually kind of in close proximity, so I ended up rolling a good bit in that period, I suppose, now that I think about it. And again, there's like Nitocris Alter here. She's okay. I mean, I like regular Nitocris more, but I don't have a problem with Nitocris Alter. But you know, I don't care enough to like roll on her or anything. Yeah, I'm curious, Beastly. How long have you gone without rolling, where like just nothing has gotten added that you really care about? I'm curious, like what the longest spree has been. Because you absolutely don't roll every banner, like not even close. So I imagine there's been at least some period where it actually was a while. I would really like this stage 2 if she had no blue glowy stuff or all blue glowy stuff. I don't like the half and half thing here. That's kind of weird looking. Wow, over a year, damn. Well, can't get any Stargin here. That's unfortunate. I could try to sneak in this one art card. He's got the. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna try it. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna save scum because I'm a filthy cheater, chat. Woo! I just wanted to see if I could get, because I know it's bad luck that we have done so much damage to the enemies there. Yeah, Yang CE, holy shit, that thing was so busted. I rolled for that, for God's sakes, on my main. And I didn't even really care about the, servants that much. I mean, Brunhilde's alright, but, Yeah, to this day, that CE is one of the most busted. Alrighty. So we want to get our extra effects from this skill. I'll whiff some healing. Do I just wait? You know what? I think we do. I think we just wait here. So we'll probably do heal boost, and we're not going to need Merlin because we're going to second skill, so we will... Wait a minute. I guess I should have rainbow chained then, because I'm going to make 100% battery. There's no reason to art chain here. I rolled on some weird shit though on my main account recently, just trying to get cool coins. But I never rolled like everything I had, I'm not even close. But I'm not really doing that anymore, even though I want to because I don't have Ku's second passive. But because of Fate Strange Fake and Fate Lost and all that, there's a lot of potential servants that I might want in close proximity. And if they ever do add like another gunslinger, right? I like gunslingers, or if they add Green Knight, you know, something like that. So between the random thing that they could just randomly add, that's awesome, right? That could happen, and Fate Strange Fake and Fate Lost that has a lot of guaranteed stuff in it that I like. I just need a real stockpile of SQ, so I'm trying to go pretty conservative with my rolling. Okay, we do this number. Atlas now. So heal boost good, Merlin good too, but this has crit. I think we do the Merlin. I had a huge stockpile for Fujino, used the rest on Angry Nito. Is he even angry? Like, what? It seems more like emotionless, really. I will say, she will be able to heal for 3,000 every turn if you set it up right, and that's pretty good. Sir, I have healing every turn. What, you can't be triple buffing now, you're making me whiff value. Oh yeah, Maiden Halloween, that's a thing. That's like overkill on Arjuna, he ends up healing for such a ludicrous amount. I would rainbow chain for the heal, but I don't need the heal. They gave out Maiden Halloween again recently though, so is that Liz like collage event, you could get all the past Liz event stuff. I'm surprised they haven't done more of those yet, to be honest. I think I think the game is in just a ridiculous state right now on the development side, and on the player side, but I'm serious. I think the reason we haven't had more collage events like that is because they can't keep up with the fucking game. There are so many signs of that. Even though this game puts out like the least content out of all the major gacha games, it's not even close. Like they are so far behind the other games in terms of like content release and like effort put in. There are a lot of signs that the devs just literally cannot keep up with anything. Like, why do you think we have a dead month right now? Right, they didn't even give us a rerun. We're doing literally nothing this entire month, right? I just don't think they can keep up. They can barely do like the few events they do put out and the new main story, right? Like they can barely keep up with that. Right, the stuff that they like have to do, they can barely handle. So there's no room, there's no time, there's no developer man hours to go into like an animation update or a rerun or a UI revamp, story replay, right? Like, why do you think we haven't had an animation update in like a fucking year, right? Like, I mean, it's a shit show. Like, so I think what's happened is, like, with them taking over, I can't believe I'm saying this, because DW was one of the worst companies I've, like, ever seen. Because they were struggling to keep up with stuff. Like, really, they also were ultra struggling to keep up with stuff. But they were putting out content at a slightly better pace than Lasagna is now. And then they were still at least occasionally putting out an animation update and stuff like that. So even though their workflow is garbage, and they even said in interviews that the reason they took over DW was because their workflow was garbage, I think Lasagna's workflow is even worse. I think Type Moon has no idea how to manage a video game company. And I think they bit off more than they could chew, and they haven't hired the people they need to hire to help them. And that's the whole problem. I think that's what will fix FGO, is if they stop being cheapskates and they actually start paying enough for these developer roles, because they've been hiring for like a year now, and they haven't filled like any of those positions. So they need, and they probably filled some of them, but probably with inexperienced twats. But anyway, yeah, they need to pay way better. They need to hire experts, actual experts, to help them manage this shit show. And they need to get a good workflow so they can actually make content for this game. But like they're clearly like incapable of even like keeping up with like the minor amount of content they're trying to put out now. I mean, why do you think Lost Belt 7 only put out 11 chapters and now we're waiting around for a month doing nothing? Right? Not even a rerun. Okay, so our third skill, 3 turns. Probably stick with Art Chain then. We really whipped this heal though. It's fucked. It gets fucked. I think there's just a lot of signs that they can't keep up with like what little demand for like content they have. And Anubis looking pretty jacked there. So our survivability is pretty decent with proper command codes and all that, because when we used her before, she didn't have like command codes for this kind of thing. But the damage is, oh god, that sucks. We can't, that really sucks, because we have to wait 2 turns, and that's really bad with Atlas. That does not sync up well. Yeah, that's kind of a yikes. Alright, well, we're gonna Rainbow Chain here. We're gonna get our NP no matter what, so we'll actually focus on Scars in. It is kind of messed up. FGO is kind of like a dead game these days. It's kind of it doesn't make any sense. Like with the profitability of the game and everything, there's just no reason for it. But I really just do think like Lasagna is just completely incapable of running this right now, and I think Tight Moon as well. I think Tight Moon has made a lot of bad decisions, and they're just like completely overworked, even though they're barely doing anything, right? Like it's terrible management. Well, I might as well cast this one. I still have a small degree of hope, though, that they might eventually get it fixed. They just gotta hire good talent. That's the key. They've got to hire veterans that know what they're doing and have experience and know how to organize. Because the thing is, and I've seen this, I'm an old man, Chad. I've seen a lot of video games, I've seen a lot of ongoing games like gacha games and MMOs, a lot of similarities between the way gachas try to like handle an ongoing service, like how MMOs do and did. And a lot of the like newbies, right, they do a lot of like surface level stuff that fails all of the time. And I've seen game after game after game do it, and only a few games do it right, and those normally do a lot better. But it's like a lot of games do the whole, instead of trying to make the early game content more fun and cut out the filler and try to, you know, do that kind of thing, they always try to rush people through it, right? That's like the low-hanging fruit idea of how to make your like early game experience better. It's like, oh, make it quicker, right? You know, give them a bunch of OP shit and that will get them to beat the content really easily, right? That's what a lot of games like MMOs and gacha games do, and it never works. Because it's not fun, right? It's not, no one wants to play a game where you're handed like, you know, way OP stats, overpowered gear, to just rush through the story and make everything trivial. You're just bored. You're just bored, right? It's shit. That's not the way to do it. But it takes very little effort. It takes very little work, and it's like the really obvious thing to try to do, right? And FGO, I just fear, is going to keep doing the really obvious dumb shit that doesn't actually work and doesn't really make the game better. Okay, I think we do battery here. It kind of sucks, but we need to cast our bunch of skills here. It's a huge whiff on battery. Do I art here? Raw is probably my favorite. You know, it depends on the depiction, right? The different legends and myths mix it up. And then like if you look at like how video games handle Raw and stuff, they mix it up as well. But when Raw is done like well, I really like Raw. I mean, like I don't even like Egyptian gods that much, to be honest. Out of all the pantheons and stuff out there, it's not my favorite. But Raw is a fucking badass, dude. And some of the designs for Raw that I've seen over the years are just so good. So yeah, Raw is carrying Egyptian gods for me. Anubis is alright though, and Anubis is probably the most famous these days, to be honest. This is a tough call here. I mean, we're gonna have to work in... Okay, I guess we do Rainbow Chains when this is off cooldown. I think it's tough. I think my favorite, like if you look at the actual stories and stuff, not like video game and anime adaptations and shit like that, but like the actual stuff that's out there. Now a lot of stuff is lost to time, right? So there's there's a million different versions of these things, but for the most part, I think my favorite is Norse, like Odin and Thor and all that. That's just Odin's great, dude. Like there's a lot of awesome stories with Odin, like seriously. So yeah, Odin, it's funny, I saw a lot of people saying they really liked Odin's portrayal in God of War. I think it's dog shit. I think it's awful. I think it's basically an OC character that has nothing to do with Odin. At that point, why are you using Norse mythology? Right, they literally turned Odin into a used car salesman. I'm like, great. Like that's literally not what Odin's about on any level. So it's like you're just making an OC at that point. Which, if you want to make an original character, that's fine, but don't call it Odin, right? Like, it's got nothing to do with anything. That was like such a bad take on Odin, in my opinion. There's really no basis for it at all, right? And, like, the voice actor did a good job, and like the character in a vacuum is fine. It's just there's no reason to make that Odin. I was so not a fan of that. But that happens a lot these days, where people only care about like just made up bullshit. It has nothing to do with the source material, right? So, but anyway, yeah, actual Odin is really awesome, and just a lot of Norse mythology stuff I think is great. But I do like, I gotta say, here recently I've really gotten into Roman stuff, because when I was younger, I never gave Roman mythology a fair shake, because when I was growing up, like, my family was always really big on history and stuff, and most people in my family were like, oh yeah, Roman mythology is just Greek mythology with new names. And so I kind of just believed that, and I never really gave it much thought. And it's wrong. Like, actually, Roman mythology did change a lot. Like, obviously it's based on Greek mythology, but I mean, Greek mythology is based on other, older stuff as well. That's welcome to humanity, by the way. It all goes back to Babylonia, generally speaking. But yeah, Roman stuff's awesome. I actually like most of Roman's takes on the Greek gods. I like more. That being said, I still really like Greek stuff. I mean, who doesn't? Yeah, I don't think it's boring to like Greek stuff, because it's famous and hyped, and it was copied by everyone for a reason, because it is awesome. It does have a lot to it. There's a lot of neat stuff. It's great. Yeah, Greek mythology is fantastic. I love it. And but yeah, Roman and Greek, really, really good stuff. And yeah, obviously Babylonian, Sumerian stuff is really good too. But a lot of that was lost to time, though. The big thing I like about Sumerian stuff is that it is such a influential thing on the rest of like civilization, right? Like, it's really obvious how it influenced a lot of stuff, even leading up to modern stuff, and that's just interesting. And like, it's such an old story. It's very fascinating, but it is a pretty good story in its own. It does like cover some interesting things about humans, with like pride and greed and wisdom and all that kind of stuff. So I do like a lot of that stuff. And Abzu is awesome, by the way. That's one of my favorite gods. And if that could actually be used in FGO, that would be great. I have never been big on the weeb stuff. And like, I'm fucking, you know, part Korean. I'm more Korean than anything else, and I love the Korean side of my family and everything, but I have never been big on Korean, Japanese, Chinese, like, mythologies much. I've never cared about it that much. It's never been my cup of tea. I don't hate it. I'm not trying to, like, you know, burn the books. It's not that or anything, but it's really just never been my, never been that interesting to me. I can't believe Zeus isn't playable when, like, so many other gods are, and every other Lost Belt King is playable, man. It sucks. Now, there are, like, I don't know a lot about, like, Vietnamese stuff. I'm not as familiar with that. But, like, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, I don't hate it, but I don't hype it. Alright, can I NP with not art chaining? The double art up. We could put the art card last. The problem is the art card needs to be before the Buster card. That really fucks everything up. Actually, I still have this heal, so I don't have to do it that way. But then why even rainbow chain? That's the thing. Okay, fuck it, we're just art chaining. I think they still will make some of the Lost Belt 5 gods playable. I don't think they're done with that stuff, because they even said they made full designs for all the Olympians, and they just haven't shown them. So I think at some point they are going to use them again. It might be in 3.0 or whatever, but it doesn't mean Zeus will be playable. It's more likely that it will get like Demeter or Aphrodite or something like that. But here's the thing, like we were just talking about with their workflow being garbage and they can barely keep up with anything, you know, they don't have room to make like an extra event that's like based on Greek mythology or whatever. Like they can barely keep up with the stuff they have to do, let alone going above and beyond anywhere. So and right now I don't think they even have the means to do it, which is fucked because they make so much money they shouldn't have these problems, but they clearly do. So we're surviving extremely well with her heal and the command codes. Now I will say this would fall flat on its face if we were fighting a tougher boss. Even when you're at flat neutral, Richard just doesn't hit that hard, right? Like a proper boss generally is harder than him, and it's because he's AoE, so he does like damage just like AoE and PvP. Because yeah, her healing is not so great that like a boss that's doing like 3k per attack or whatever she's going to keep up with by no means. But anyway, where we're struggling is just damage. We're living all right, but we definitely. I actually feel like we may not want this gut CE because we're having turn after turn after turn after turn after turn after turn go by that doesn't do anything. It will generate one turn for us at the end. But whatever other effect we could have probably could have generated more value than that one turn. So where Guts would be good though is if it was a boss that hit like a motherfucker, right? But yeah, I think in this fight, it's probably not worth it. Like just more damage or a defense up or a heal boost, right? All kinds of things could be better. Yeah, actually, surprisingly, sometimes defense ups end up being a lot better in these longer fights than you would expect. Not necessarily right here, though, especially because she doesn't have her own defense up or damage cut or anything like that. Alright, I think we finally rainbow chain. I have to do Buster after this thing, though. That is so awkward. Kind of hard to do a good NP game combo there. Also, I really wish we had gotten a partner there. So, I mean, for video games and anime, I think my favorite depiction of the Greek gods is Hades, actually. They found a really nice mix of making it original, unique, stand out, but then still very much honoring the source material, right? And, yeah, I think they did a really good job. Now, I see some people that some people are just ignorant, to be honest. Almost any time a game or a movie or an anime or whatever depicts Zeus as like more benevolent, people are always like, oh, that's not right, blah, 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 blah. The thing is, there are plenty of legends that Zeus was depicted as fairly benevolent, right? Still kind of on the selfish side and stuff, but there are a lot of stuff where he didn't like do a lot of jackass stuff, and he did protect stuff, and he is oftentimes depicted as like, you know, defending the realm against like agents of chaos, if you will. Now, yes, there are many stories and legends and versions where Zeus is depicted as more of a dick and whatnot, but because here's the thing. If an anime, book, movie, whatever, depicts Zeus as kind of a strong army dick, like you do see him in some of the legends, that's fine. That's okay. Like if Hades had done that and still gave him good art and all that, I'd like, you know, that's totally fine. That's legit. And if on the flip side they want to depict Zeus as like an awesome, you know, grandpa, that's fine too, because there are stories like that as well, right? So as long as you're like referencing something legitimate, and then if you want to expand on that, that's fine in my book, right? So it's like the thing with Odin. Odin was just bullshit in God of War because they just made that up. There's really there's nothing that really points to that, and quite the opposite. So I really didn't like that. Like really, I do not like that depiction of Odin. Even though I like the voice actor and everything. There's just that character has nothing to do with Odin whatsoever, right? They just made an OC and named him Odin, and then put him in charge of like the Pantheon and all that. That's just bullshit. They're not referencing anything meaningful with that character. So I don't. That's the kind of depictions I don't like. It's like at that point, why are you even using Norse mythology, right? And the thing is, a lot of times you'll have like creators like with that show Velma, right, where they basically want to make an OC series, but they want to leech off a popular IP to get attention, right? They don't think that they can make an original IP and be as successful, right? And it's the same thing with mythology, right? People love mythology. People love Greek mythology and Norse mythology and stuff. So it's an easy way to like get a boost, right? So they don't want to make an OC. They want to use Norse mythology because that gets people excited, right? But yeah, it just sucks. I'm not a fan of that. But yeah, Hades, for video games and all that, I think Hades did the best job with Greek mythology. I've seen some other stuff though. I've seen some indie games that have done some pretty awesome stuff with Greek mythology. Quite a few actually. So yeah, there's a lot of good shit. It's hard to pick. But yeah, overall, I would say Hades. I think they really nailed it. Like they found a great balance between fun and creative and new and still respecting the source material. Yeah, the references are superficial, and that's meaningless to me. Yeah, I gotta stress this. When companies make horrible schlock and disgraceful nonsense, don't give them money. That's the thing. Don't give them money just to be curious and see what it's about. You know, if a company does something crappy, the only way to get that shit out of the industry is if you don't support it. Okay, one turn on this stuff. I should still NP though. I guess I'll heal boost the baby heal. It adds up. Here's the thing, it's like, sometimes, the only time I think piracy is the correct answer is when like it's not, the thing is not supported in your region in the first place. And that happens all the time, where there's like an anime comes out and there's literally no legitimate way to buy it or watch it or whatever, right? So you have to pirate it. That's fine. So at that point, it's the company's fault for not supporting the region. Or if it's like abandonware, right? Stuff like that. Or if it's truly like just awful business practice, like with Aniplex charging like $700 for K&K DVDs, right? Like that, fuck that shit, right? So when it's a service problem, pirate, right? But if I just don't like something, I'm not gonna pirate it. Like, how do I put this? It's like, you might not respect them, you may not like them, but it's still, they still made it, and they still have a right to sell it and everything else, right? They're not, Velma sucks, but it's not illegal to make a piece of garbage, chat. It's not against the law to make flaming hot doo-doo, right? So if the answer to them making something like that, I don't think is piracy. That really isn't fair to the creators at that point, right? If you care enough to want to see what they made, you should have to do it legitimately outside of, because there are means to preview something for free, right? It's within fair use for people to make reviews on YouTube and to share a scene and clips and to like critique it, and that's allowed. So you can get an idea and learn a lot about the Velma show without actually watching it legitimately, and you don't need to pirate it, right? And that's the fair thing to do. Yeah, for me, piracy is reserved for when like it's truly corrupt, fucked up business practice, or you know, like so often you have stuff coming out that's not officially supported in your region, so then fuck it, you can pirate that. But yeah, Aniplex is nuts, by the way. I'm mad to this day about those K&K prices. Yeah, apparently they still do it. Some of my chat looked it up the other day, and they still put shit out for outrageous prices like that. So we're getting near the end of this. So I'm not sure we're gonna have 2 turns. If we get 2, okay, I'm gonna save this. We're gonna use this heal. We're gonna wait a minute. Fuck. I shouldn't have cast this because it's NP turn. Guts is gonna go off this turn no matter what. Fuck. I should have waited a turn. Okay, well I can heal boost, but like nothing else I do this turn is gonna really matter. So what I need to do is I need to be able to heal enough to live 1 turn so I can get my 2nd skill and do my 3rd skill to get the evasion. Fuck, I can't get rid of the dot again. Damn. Well, okay, what's the maximum amount of health I can get here? The heal boosting this is better than heal boosting the command code because it heals for more. So this is the best I can do for living right here. That's the most health I can get myself. If we live here, we might be able to live yet another turn because we get the evade. Don't crit me. Hey, we live. Feels good. That was really close, but that helps. Unfortunately, we have to whip the battery, but because we're at like the end of the fight, it's not gonna do us any good. I like how we've lived so long that this is coming off cooldown. I don't think it's gonna matter, but that's a thing. I don't know, we might be able to stabilize a little bit because this boss really does do so little damage. Like a proper boss here would either kill us this turn or next turn. Okay, well, if I didn't whiff that heal, I could heal 1 more time right here. So that was a pretty big fuck up. Also, this burn is kinda yikes. Do I heal boost this baby heal or try to save it for this? I think I heal boost this baby heal. I should have swapped those 2 around. Although it's not gonna really matter. You could probably do this with a different CE. Although I don't know, because actually we did need hard survival for that NP there. So Guts actually did more than kind of just vanilla turn of survival. That's hard to say. But we would have done a lot more value in all those turns prior, even if we did die sooner. She can probably beat it. I think if you min-max enough with the command codes and the CE and stuff, I think she can do it. Oh, and obviously we could have done it if we were like NP5 and shit like that, but I think she could do it at NP2. I don't really want to do that again though, because that took so fucking long. That was yikes. All right, let's use her on my ult account against Lobo with a budget team. Now that's a horrible situation for her because she's AoE, but you can still get like data from it. So let me switch over here. I think my ult account still needs to patch, so give me a moment. hell was that noise? This is a good boss theme right here. My screen's the wrong size here. It was a little tricky doing this. There we go. Maybe on an A, they'll do a filler event or whatever. It is fucked up, though, that we didn't get a rerun or anything. I mean, this has just been crazy. I've actually been shocked. I really did think they would do something in all this time. Like, a rerun would be, like, the obvious. God damn. Yeah, I know FGO does like act like new banners or content a lot, and that would be more meaningful if it was like Arknights, because in Arknights, if a new character comes out, you can now go use them on so much stuff. You can fight the main story. You can go back and refight boss fights like Tallulah and Patriot and all that. They're just sitting there, and you can fight them anytime you want to. You can do challenge mode. You can do the roguelike. And there's so much to go do with new characters. This game, you get a new character, you go farm doors. Like, wow. Yeah, absolutely. This has been way worse than the COVID year. Yeah, I think Lasagna and Tymoon just do not know what they're doing. I think their workflow is just totally messed up. Alright, go to 1.5. I know, if we had, like, Arknights' design philosophy with FGO's characters and core gameplay and everything, it'd be great. Now, I'm not going to hate on Arknights' core gameplay, it's very good, but it's also apples and oranges, right? They're so different gameplay-wise. But a lot of the design philosophy in Arknights would translate to FGO perfectly, like one-to-one, no problem. Like, you know, I'm not huge on Arknights' character designs overall. They've got a few designs that I like, but they have just a lot of whatever. But I will give it to the developer, I think it's Hypergrip. They clearly have an excellent workflow because they put out content pretty regularly. They have time to like experiment. That's the thing. They're able to keep up with a reasonable workflow because they said they were working on the roguelike for like a year and a half. So they had some developers on the side for like a year and a half just creating that roguelike mode. There is no way Lasagna can do that, right? And you can tell because anytime Lasagna or DW back in the day would try to do something air quotes creative, it'd be so shallow. You could tell they worked on it for, you know, like a month or two tops, and it was just, you know, crap. They didn't have the time to have developers working on something for like a year and a half, while other developers worked on like the new events and the typical, you know, content you do day to day, right? So they're just managed way better, like clearly, because they're constantly trying out new things. There's like a boss rush mode getting added soon and stuff like that. And the roguelike mode was that was a really big undertaking. So, but I'm glad they did it. I'm so glad they did it. That was obviously a gamble. That's a lot of money, a year and a half, and they saw nothing, right? They had those devs working on the roguelike for a year and a half, and they saw no profit off of that entire time. A lot of companies are just unwilling to do that kind of thing. But it paid off. I think Arknights is a significantly better game because they made the roguelike. And yeah, there's another roguelike coming out in like, I don't know, 4 months or something like that, 5 months. That one though, because they had the groundwork, I doubt they had to work on that. I know that was like brand new, and it's got all new bosses and all new stages and all that. But the groundwork already exists, so I'm sure they could make it a lot faster because they've already made like the systems for like the random encounters and the shop and and just the way that the game, you know, flows, that groundwork is already there. So they probably could make it in like 7 months or something, you know, much faster. Wait, is boss rush really soon? I didn't even know. Like, fuck. Like, is boss rush tomorrow on global? Fuck, I had no idea. So they put the boss rush mode in the game while the anniversary event's going on with the Gator stuff. That's kind of a lot. Was it the EX stages? Really? I had no idea. Chat, are you kidding me? Look, some of my viewers, I get like YouTube comments and DMs on Discord where people are like mad because I'm always like hyping Arknights. I'm not sponsored by Arknights, and my bias is for FGO. If I could pick which game was better, I would want FGO to be better than Arknights. The thing is, I'm not on so much copium that I actually think FGO holds a candle to Arknights in terms of game development. Right, we're over here in a dead month, and they're over there putting out multiple new characters, a new event that's awesome, that has a bunch of content in it, and then while that event is going on, they're adding a whole new game mode that's permanent, that you can play anytime, right? It's like, are you kidding me? Right, like, I'm rooting for FGO, but I feel like Arknights is just beating me to death, right? Because, like, it's kind of like you're starting to, it's like you're at your limit, right? It's like the camel's back has already been broken, right? You know, Arknights already has butchered FGO in terms of like content and development practice, but then they just like beat the shit out of the camel after it's already dead, right? And they just like they're adding a new permanent game mode, and then FGO, it's like we don't even have a permanent game mode, right? It's like, okay, ugh. And like the thing about Arknights is they think forward, right? They think about what can we do that is going to make the game better permanently, right? And they do a lot of stuff like that. They do things to make the game just better. Like Arknights in so many ways, like feels like a single player game in terms of like its quality and like the amount of like replayability it has and stuff. And that's good, right? They do a good job with that, where a lot, like if you don't want to, you don't have to keep up with the flavor of the month stuff for it to be a good game, right? Like there's such a constant trickle of like interludes or events that become permanent at like a pretty reasonable rate, a pretty comparable rate to them just making brand new events, that like if you're behind the curve, it doesn't matter, right? It's just a good fucking game you can play whenever you want. And then FGO, it's just like, yeah, we got doors. And at least I'll give FGO this, they have advanced quests, but don't fool yourself. Like advanced quests are just not that good. Like most of them have no replay value just inherently in their design. And they're just not that good. But like advanced quests is the only thing that FGO has ever done. Like that's it. And you know, at least it's something, but it's not that good, right? It's pretty shallow. And dude, here's the thing. I say this because I like FGO. I want FGO to be better. I would be so happy if FGO would start copying some of Arknights' development practice. And I don't mean, you know, copying its combat system and shit like that. That's not what I mean. I mean like its UI philosophy, its game mode philosophy, you know, its development pipeline, you know, that kind of stuff. I would just, because I love Fate, right? I love the IP, you know, there's so many characters that I like, although I will say, most of the characters I like from Fate or from books and stuff, they're not from FGO. Most of the FGO exclusive stuff that was like created for FGO, I don't like very much. But but there's new books being made all the time. Like, you know, Fate Lost is coming out, right? And it's got like, you know, Baba Yaga and all that kind of stuff. And like, the books just generally make more like serious designs, where FGO makes like silly bullshit. The FGO characters last year have been kind of whatever. I mean, I agree for the most part, but there's a few that I've liked. But that's just subjective. But this is objective. There's no denying, like, you have no barometer if you disagree with this. There is a blatant difference in design philosophy between, like, the main series stuff, like when they make a new book, like Fate Zero, Fate Strange Fate, or a new manga, you know, Red Line, you know, Fate Lost coming out. There's a clear difference in design philosophy when they make characters for that versus where they make characters for FGO. Right, FGO is constantly trying to be like weird for the sake of weird and very extra and very, you know, just over-the-top fancy nonsense, stilt shoes and all this stuff. A lot of OC, you know, space stuff that has nothing to do with anything, right? There's a lot, that's an objective fact that FGO does a lot of that. Where the books and the mangas and stuff don't do that, generally speaking. They might have like one character that's off the walls like that. But if you look at like Fate Redline, you know, it's a lot more grounded. You look at Fate Lost, it's a lot more grounded. You look at Fate Strange Fake, it's a lot more grounded. And that's just saying something because Fate Strange Fake is a bit wacky, but the main works, right, like the main series, like books and all that kind of stuff, they're just more serious. They generally respect, I think, the source material more. Now there's some exceptions to that, not, you know, but exceptions prove the rule. Where FGO is very consistent in like just being wacky. And because of that, you know, people that obviously don't like the wacky stuff are just not going to like it, and that of course not. I mean, almost all the Lost Belts have like the same two writers, so. FGO's been lazy about the cut-ins though ever since they made the cut-ins standard. The only times cut-ins weren't lazy is when they didn't have to do it every fucking 5-star, right? They did it when it made sense or when they were inspired to do it. Right, but then they, for whatever reason, it became like just standard that they must make a cut-in for every 5-star, and that just doesn't work. I mean, and also I think it makes them have to rush, and rushing is always bad for that kind of thing, and it just it sucks. Okay, Lobo time. So, Mozart's good, Hans is good. We're gonna ban Nash just because she makes Lobo too easy, is what it is. Obviously you have access to Nash, but it's not a good barometer because Nash is such a large safety net that, like, I mean, we tested it, Phantom of the Opera can win as the primary DPS, so you're not learning a lot at that point. Especially now that Nash is level 90, it's even easier for her to carry this fight. I mean, it's not like they've ever really gotten feedback on the cut-ins. They've never, like, asked that on a survey or anything like that. I think people like the idea of cut-ins, I just think the execution of it is normally bad. Now, that being said, there are some NPs that just do not work with cut-ins. Like, the choreography in the NP just does not lend itself to that kind of thing. Now, you could still have a generic, like, cut-in at the start, just to, like, but here's the problem with those, is they just copy-paste the character art, and that just doesn't work, right? So you might have, like, a character yelling at the start of their NP, and then their character art just has nothing to do with that, right? That doesn't work. But yeah, the custom cut-ins for the NP, some of the character choreography, it just doesn't, there's no room for it. Yeah, Gramps cut-in is perfect, because that wasn't forced, right? That was actually the opposite. They didn't really do cut-ins much back then, and they didn't do them much after. I think they just had the idea of like, oh, this would be really good. But yeah, that one works really well. Well, we need a taunt, pretty much no matter what. Leonidas will give us a little bit more damage, but not much. We can work in Jufu. Wait, my ult account doesn't have Jufu. I have got to fix that. I mean, it has Jufu, it just hasn't leveled her. I have not played this ult account in so long. Like, I haven't played an event or done any real farming on it in so long, so it just doesn't level anything anymore. And that's okay for like the bells and whistles that most accounts don't even have, but like the staple free-to-play stuff, I really do need to level on this account, so I do need to get Jufu. I just gotta remember to do it. What I was going to do was play this account when there were reruns, because my main doesn't need to do the reruns, because it's already got the loot from it, like the command codes and whatnot, so then I could play an ult account, but they don't do a lot of reruns, so... I think original Akama's sprite quality is fine. I mean, yeah, the new one is better, but here's the thing about a lot of the new sprites, although they've got, like, they've really gotten down, like, body proportions and putting a bit more detail into, like, the facial expressions and stuff, they actually put less effort into the animations these days. They put a lot of effort into making one sprite, but they don't animate it, right? They make like one arm and one leg and one head, and that's it. And they don't, you know, they're very stiff because of that, and that kind of sucks. Where like a lot of the older sprites, they were more willing to animate them for God's sakes. Because I want sprites that are at least of like Babylonia quality, but then to be actually animated and fluid and like, you know, represent the, like, what the character should be doing, right? And not be like, oh, well, we don't want to put in that kind of effort, so we'll make them fight this way instead. Alright, like, that just sucks. But, I mean, yeah, better sprite quality, you know, I'm not going to complain about it, but I care a lot more about the animation quality than the base sprite quality, as long as the base sprite quality is at least Babylonia. Like, anytime I see the sprites from, like, Babylonia and on, I never am like, oh man, these look bad. They look fine! I mean, they look just as good as, like, what you would see in pretty much any other, you know, anime, you know, sprite-based game or whatever. So, yeah, it's not a big deal for me at all. Some characters, it's fine, like when they're just lasers and they're just standing still and all that. But some characters, absolutely not. Yeah, Matahari, that's a character that needs an animation update. Holy crap. Well, Zhufu is the absolute best option for her, but I don't have her. That really sucks, because like there really isn't a lot of other units I could use, because Hohenheim is not enough oomph. He's more for farming. I find Hohenheim very rarely, occasionally, but very rarely is he good for challenge quest, main story stuff for budget teams. He's more like a filler option for like non-budget teams and for farming. He's great for farming, but I'll try him because I just got nothing else, but I don't think it's worth. I don't think this is going to do very well. I guess Alex is a good cleanup unit here. Could do Star Bomb if we get lucky at the start, and then do Mozart Star Bomb after. I also need Mozart to live though, but I don't want him to live like super long because I need him to show up. Maybe do like defense up so we still die, but we don't get like one turned. Like if you die on turn 2, 3, or 4, or even 5, it's fine. You just want to not die on turn 1, and you don't want to die before the boss NPs. So it's like, that's the two things that really matter. Don't die immediately, and then don't stick around for like an hour, because you need, if you don't have a starting taunt, you've got to be able to deal with it somehow. You know what? I don't normally do this in this fight. I normally do a starting NP for him. But we'll do this, just see how it goes. Try something different. Use his regular taunt and not the NP taunt right off the bat. Don't get excited, chat. It's not that important. I like how I'm giving Golden Sumo to Hohenheim, but not much else to give him. Alright, I'm gonna BRB real quick, chat. I'm gonna run to the restroom. Give me a second. I'll take a quick break here. I'll be back quickly, though. And then I never came back! That was the last time you ever saw me, chat. Alright, chat. I'm now green 2, you see. Look at all these rats in chat. What? The give, take emote. I don't even. Alright. We could NP turn 1 if we want to, however, our opening hand doesn't really sync up with that particularly well. Although, I guess if I NP now, I'm free to use my art cards later. Yep, fire everything. What about the big art up, though? See, that's where starting with an art card's really good, because you can have best of both worlds. I'm gonna do the crit up and hope this Buster card crits. We can boost it up to 50%. The rainbow chain. $100K. I was hoping for a little bit more than that. Alright, wow, this deck spread is garbage, dude. There's just no good time to do our third skill because of this. Her other 2 art cards and her quick card are all in the third hand. That sucks. That's probably gonna reset just because that's so unlikely, and that's gonna like lower your value so much. Because now I'm gonna overgauge massively, and then all my buffs are gone. Where if like any of that shit was in the first 2 hands, you would have done more damage and been able to NP when you still had some of the buffs available. That's fucked up. There's so much variance in FGO though, with the way the deck shuffles. I mean, like 1 art card in the opening hand, that'd be great. Like, she has 3 art cards, so it's not like an unreasonable ask. Okay, this is so much better than before. Do I do the guaranteed crit here when I've got this many buffs? I think I do. It makes Hans's CE completely pointless, but still, yeah, this is good. Obviously, the evade is gonna smack us, but that's just the nature of the fight. I don't think I would roll for like an Anubis lookalike in Arknights. I mean, I don't mind Anubis, he's okay. I mean, if his character was awesome, right? He's a great voice actor and he's got a cool character, then maybe, but I'm not huge on that style. Well, that sucks. I'm still going to NP faster than last time. But that's annoying.
目も当てられんダ作ぶりだな。脱行すなわち解放。まったくいい時代だ。資料集めにはことかかん。損なうたびに思い出すがいい。メルヘン・マイネス・レーベンス。本気か。
お受けなさい。
Alright, we can probably break here. Or you can do the defense up. Guess we'll see now. $46. Damn, if that hit crit, I think it would have worked. Yeah, it definitely would have. Damn, damn, damn. Unfortunately, my casters here are living too long. Mozart is at full health. Can't say I'm happy about that one. Need somebody to die here. Oh, couldn't you have done that to Hans? You got one turn left for one of these guys to die. What a nightmare. I guess at this point I'd want Hans to die because Mozart's about to get his giant art up back, and that'd be kind of great. I think I NP anyway, though. Yeah, insta-death immunity, let's go. Actually, that would be nice. Not that we have invulnerability or anything to use, so survive the damage, but... Come on, Lobo. Come on! Fuck! I guess I shouldn't have given Mozart the defense up, I don't know. Well, now we have to do a 1 in 3. God damn it. Also, I guess I could have not Hans NP'd so we didn't get the heal, but then Nitocris might have died. I mean, it wouldn't have happened this time, but it could have happened. That's why I did it. Well. God damn it, dude. God damn it. That's not Nitocris' fault, unless I guess she could have won by now, and then that would have prevented this, but it was mainly just bad luck, and I did make a slight mistake, I think. No, Lobo, it's fine. No, don't, just, you know, do the smart thing. You know, you want to win too, right? You gotta earn those Scooby snacks. And now he kills the casters with his normal attacks. Don't worry, guys. Alexander's got this. See, watch. Now I'm going to take the defense off of Mozart. And the boss is going to one-turn Mozart. See, also, if she had guts there, this would have been way better. I will say this. That is slightly Nitocris' fault. Not entirely, but like her kit is like the most susceptible to that. She doesn't have invulnerability, she doesn't have guts. She doesn't have anything like that. She does have A evade, but obviously that won't work here. And sure hit is fairly common. Pierce invulnerability is a lot rarer. Victim blaming a little bit. I'm just saying, like, there are units that could have been in that same situation and not have died. Now, a lot would, though. There are plenty of DPS units that don't have invulnerability or guts. You pretty much need one of those two things, or a massive amount of attack down. Yeah, giving her an infinite guts like Blackbeard, I don't think that's OP at all. I mean, several units have that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't think that's even remotely OP. That'd be totally fun. I really do think that would, with her having the heal on her first skill, that would just be perfect. I think her gameplay would feel so much better if they did that. Now, in her defense, she's AoE, this is single target, etc., etc. But I could see that kind of thing being an issue often, especially if you're not working with Castoria. Chat, I just realized with how kind of bare minimum her kit is, she's not limited, is she? I think I might have heard like something about her being unlimited or something, I'm not sure, but when I look at her kit, I know how they are. Like, they almost every time they make a new 5-star that's permanent, they have fairly like vanilla value on their skills. So she's permanent. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I believe it. I thought I'd heard something about that, and then when I look at her kit, I'm like, yeah, that's probably what's going on here. I'm gonna play that song again because I could barely hear it. I'm gonna turn that shit up. Alright. Got an art card. Oh, no wonder we were struggling to kill though. We got this evade at the start. I wasn't thinking about that. So, her crit spread could be a little bit better, but I think we'll gamble on the 80%. No way this bites me in the ass, chat. That's an emote, Faust. Faust has a one-track mind. I respect it, though. This is not the best turn for this. Yep, I can see why my casters live though. Like, between her evade and if Hans takes his heal, it's actually pretty likely no one will die. Man, I wish someone had a Buster card right here. Mozart could die, so I should probably just throw it out. Not gonna accomplish much though. Yeah, I don't mind Nitocris Alter. They definitely made weirder stuff. Main issue with her gameplay is just kind of alright. And I don't mean like, I'm not really referring to like raw strength, right? Like, she doesn't need to be better than, you know, the best art looper that there ever was. That's not the thing. It's just, it's so vanilla, right? She doesn't have a lot of stuff going for her. Like, adding a guts to it, I really think would help a lot. Okay. Kinda struggled with that first health bar. Now, I could Hans NP, and it's still pretty likely Hans might live if I did Hans' NP. Like, right now, one of them is going to die if they get attacked. If I NP, that might not happen. But, like, the value, though, I want the stuff. We can take a Brave Chain, though. That's pretty good, too. Rainbow Brave Chain.
それが望みなら
Although I should probably NP here. Should I though? If Mozart lives, it's way better next turn, and then she gets this next turn. Decisions. I think we actually just do the regular Brave Chain.
それが望みならこうしてこうアナリス様ゆるゆるゆるネッティ
I actually think Kama is probably the most fun Art AoE Avenger. Either that or Antonio. His crit stuff's kind of interesting actually. But Kama's got some stuff to manage, and you can try to maximize the NP gain off a charm, or save the charm for like stalling the enemy's NP, or just sort of saving a key unit on your team. There's some interesting stuff there. Why are they alive? I don't understand. Okay, so they would be dead if it wasn't for the evade. Like that one hit is definitely the... God damn it, dude. Well, we might as well NP now because you don't gain anything out of holding it. Oh, this is... I can't believe we're having to do this 1 in 3 again. It does show that just that little bit of survivability, though, from the evade is enough. So, like, both times, I'm pretty sure if we didn't do the evade, one of them would have died. He missed the attack up. Fantastic. That's the one I wanted the most. Yeah, you couldn't lose a 1 in 3 twice in a row. There we go. I wish we'd hit Hans though, because most of our skills coming back, but better than Nitocris dying. I guess at that point you would need to just put a taunt on your front row. It's just too hard to... Because not only was it hard to get them killed and we had to rely on RNG and stuff, but like we had to whiff Hans's MP value because we didn't want to use it because we were afraid of them living, right? Like that's not great. I guess I do taunt now, actually. He was supposed to block that first MP with invulnerability and then just in case of the proc, but now we have to wait a really long time before it. So I'm just gonna do this for the MP gain up when we've got the art card. Care about her extra effect. Watch this Leo NP game.
太陽に眠っているこれより先は死の領域
Yeah, Hohenheim got the buffs, like no one else did. Nitocris doesn't have good judgment. Come on, get 200, damn it. I was really hoping to get 200% there. Don't really need to NP on Leonidas just yet. I mean, she's gonna win. And she's going faster than some AoE servants I've seen. The song is supporting me on Sonic Adventure 2. By Crush 40, I think. They did most of the music. Okay. Still don't really need to do Leonidas' NP. Like Leonidas to get that 20% now though, thanks. Really whipped that NP gain. There we go. I wish she had hit Nitocris with that, because we're about to have taunt, so her health doesn't matter, and then she would have gotten her NP. Still, I'm aware that he's going to do no damage because of the evade. The thing is, he's going to do no damage regardless, so I'm just using it to overcharge Leonidas and get the attack down. Because, like, who gives a shit about his NP? He really should buff his NP. There's no reason for him. Like, seriously, he's not that strong of a unit. There's no justification for him having, like, a randomly super scuffed NP. Like, he's got the negatives of a Buster without the positives of a Buster NP. It's so messed up. Yeah, they really I think they were really scared of multi-hit art NPs back in the day, and anytime they would make one, they'd always put big negatives on their kit. But now, because of power creep, that's just, it's so irrelevant. It's so stupid them having those drawbacks now. Don't make any fucking sense. Yep, Leonidas' NP animation is his skill animation, which was not a very fancy skill animation to begin with. Wow, we are... Okay, for a second there I thought we were doing well for an AoE servant when we were turn 8. But yeah, we're still gonna take a minute at the end here, so... When she loses her buffs, her damage kind of just collapses. Still, I've noticed a lot of AoE servants take between like 12 and 17 turns. That's generally the parameter. I like how Ushi got an animation update. And I even predicted that they were waiting to do an Ushi animation update until, like, they had, like, an event in mind for her, and they did Little Big Pingu, right? But, yeah, I don't know what happened with Leo, man. Come on, Nito. I need another NP while you still got that attack up from Leonidas. Yeah, that was nice. Dude, a Spartan event would be awesome, dude. Go to, like... Oh my god, you could, like, raise shift to Sparta. Like, why not, dude? What the fuck? Why do they never do fun things? Why are events always stupid shit that have nothing to do with anything? And they're like, oh, it's another Japanese festival. I'm so happy. Like, we could go to fucking Sparta, and you could even do it during the whole, you know, Battle of Thermopylae thing. There's so many options there. You could, you know, I've always said you could go to, like, Nottingham. You could do a whole Sheriff of Nottingham thing, right? Get to another version of Robin Hood. Fuck me, dude. Like, why are our events always crap? It's like, oh, it's another random Japanese festival. Oh, I'm so happy. We haven't done this before. Never mind doing something actually from history. Like, we got an idol event at, like, a convention center. Oh my god, dude. The wasted potential. Alright, I think we can win next turn. I should put quick last. Between that and Leo's NP, we'll have enough stars to crit. Yeah, you make, like, Xerxes the villain make him summonable. That'd be fucking fantastic, dude. I'm actually mad that someone said that because now I'm like, yep, that'd be great. And I know we're never gonna get it because this fucking game, like we're more likely to get, you know, a part 2 to the Idol event and go to another convention center and just get some wacky bullshit that has nothing to do with anything. And like meanwhile, they decided, like, this is not Love Live, right? This isn't Arknights, right? They picked world history as their theme. That's the point, right? And they never fucking use it if it's not Japanese anyway. So we're actually gonna overkill on this turn actually quite a bit because all these, like, we got attack up, we got art up, art up, art up. Like, oh, and the attack up is back. So, yeah, our overkill on this turn is going to be absolutely ridiculous. I gotta be ready to zeet the app here, but I want to see the damage. And even a lot of the Japanese stuff they do aren't even, like, meaningful points in history or anything. They just try to modernize everything. It's really annoying. Like, again, like going to a convention center, for fuck's sake. 100K, not too bad. Not as good as earlier, but actually fairly comparable. But yeah, I would love some stuff like you go to the French Opera House, get Phantom of the Opera and animation update in the costume, right? Make Christina the protagonist and stuff. That'd be great. Get, you know, Nottingham. Get Little John. Get, you know, Sheriff of Nottingham, obviously. And you could even do something with like King Richard, dude. You could really do that kind of stuff. Like with Prince John, right, in King Richard, and you could bring it in, like, because you know they want it, and they could do waifu Robin Hood, because they've already established there's a bunch of different, you know, Robin Hoods representing the different stories and stuff, and that's fair enough, right? So you can have old Robin Hood be in the event as well, right, in a meaningful way, and you have your new waifu Robin Hood. Of course, is going to be a 5-star because you know what they're about. But you want to be a good event? I'd take it. I'm not going to complain, right? Also, I think the game just crashed. Yeah, you could do, like, there's so many options, dude. Like, there's just, I don't even, you could do War of the Roses, man. And you've already got, like, a lot of, you know, characters from that era, so it's easy enough to do. And you could add in Richard V, cough, cough. You do a pirate event, man. You could do so much with a pirate-based event. There's almost too many options for that. Yeah, going to Sparta, man, that'd be great. But nope, our events are always just random bullshit, and it's a lot of Japanese stuff these days. Sparta, but in Japan. Yeah, that's about right. Alright, chat, I am going to take a quick break. I need to eat dinner. And then, man, we could have had like Xerxes, dude. That'd be awesome. Anyway, it's not gonna happen. We're dead in the water. But I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna get some food. I should probably come back with a little bit of Epic 7 because I haven't streamed that in forever. And there's like a big update that I want to check out. Apparently they revamped some stuff, and there's new 3-stars and stuff. So we'll do a bit of that. We will play Elden Ring soon though because it has been a hot minute. Maybe tomorrow we do Arknights and then Elden Ring. That might work out, because apparently there's an update tomorrow for Arknights, new game mode and stuff like that. So, yeah, we have plenty to do. But, if you're interested in Epic 7, I'll be streaming again in like 10-20 minutes, if you want to watch that. And obviously, I'll be streaming FGO if they ever, you know, bring out Lost Belt 7 or something. But, yeah, we'll see. Anyways, I'm out of here, boys. Thank you for hanging out. Peace.